It's time for Friday Night Live. Today has been a roller coaster. We've hit 200K on Tuesday. I'm streaming from my new computer. I have been setting up my desk. Things have happened. Today has been so much. I have a quick story to tell you. We have some topics we have to get into. There was a new filing in the Duggar case literally like this evening. We're going to talk about Juicy. We've got some Saltzy updates. We're just going to do some really quick kind of weekly roundup tonight. And then we're going to do a 200K celebration, Ask Me Anything. So, me being like, it'll be quick means probably an hour of content and an hour of Ask Me Anything. Dr. B is going to join me a little bit later. I'm also joined by my co star for the evening, Peanut Butter Cup Tennessee Whiskey. I normally celebrate with some champs. Tonight, I was just feeling whiskey. Like it's just a whiskey night. That's just that was just the vibe for the evening. So if you are grabbing something to drink, go ahead and pop it in the chat. I know there's some weather going on in the middle of the country. So if I disappear, it's weather. It's the weather. We're blaming the weather. Lily is catching her first live from New York. Live from New York. Welcome. 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 Let me know what all of you are drinking and where you're coming in from. We've got so much to talk about. We have so much to talk about. And I'm still pulling through it. Like stuff is happening like as we're going. So I'm gonna roll the intro. I'm gonna see where y'all are coming in from. We're professionals here. It's gonna be that kind of stream. We're gonna just take our time. We're gonna pop on through it. We're gonna stay hydrated with both the water and the whiskey. Woo! We got a big old whiskey rock in here today. We've got the green nails for St. Patrick's Day. We're ready to go. Did we go out for St. Patrick's Day? No, we sure didn't. Are we drinking tonight? Yes, we sure are. Yes, we sure are. So let us just get into it. Let's roll the intro and we got a bunch of legal shit to talk about. So let's just go. Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. I have no idea if that was being weird on your end. That was being totally weird on my end. I know you guys are like, I made it on time. Look, I set the stream 15 minutes late and then I was still late. So we are rolling late tonight. The intro played a little funny. I will have to look at that. I've been having some issues. You know, guys, I've been having tech issues. I don't know if that is a StreamYard issue. I've been having some web-based app issues the last couple days with Canva and a few others. So sorry. It just is. Congratulations for your new apartment, Mary. That was fantastic. So for those of you that got a little bit of a glitchy intro, I'm sorry, I did too. Going old school and having a Cosmo. I love it. On Tuesday night, we went out and I had the most delicious lemon drops. I don't care how fucking basic a lemon drop is. I love them. I love them. I love them. Danielle, thank you so much. Happy Friday night. Thank you for the super chat. It's good to see you. Hello from the UK. Hello, Emily in the UK. Hello, Millie M. First time live. Welcome. I should say replay crew. Love you. There will be timestamps down below for all of our topics. We're just getting into the intro and the welcomes and the saying hello. It's so good to see everyone. Finally made it live. You're totally on time. We just got started. I'm that late that you're on time. And I'm here for you. I'm that late that you're on time. Always. Today was just a really, really busy day. And yesterday I took the day off to be with the family. We're going to talk about that in just a minute because I have a story about the paw nerds with that. These paw nerds out here, y'all. And of course it's Fred. It's always Fred. It's always Fred being Fred. And it's just Fred is being spectacularly special. And that is something I don't have words for, but I'm going to tell you the story in just a hot second. I'm trying to save something that I need to save so I can upload it to share with y'all in just a minute because we're professionals here and we're prepped. Okay, let's talk. We don't talk about Bruno. Let's talk about Fred. Then we're going to get into our weekly roundup, and then I'll have Dr. B join us and we'll do an Ask Me Anything. I sent it out to the members in the Patreons earlier, so I'm going to do some of their questions and then do all of the questions here. So yesterday we took a family day. We went and did activities. We went and adventured around Tennessee a little bit. And one of the places we went in Tennessee was Lynchburg, Tennessee, home of Jack Daniel's number 7. Why is it number 7? Well, Tennessee numbers the approvals for the boozy things. So it's the 7th approved whiskey. I hit something on my end. Apologies. I've moved things on my desk. I tried to put my phone down. I bumped into my Stream Deck. Things are happening. Tennessee labels or numbered the whiskey. So when you got approved, that's why it's, Jack Daniel's number 7, because it was the 7th approved recipe for whiskey in Tennessee. I've learned way more about whiskey than I ever thought I would know, but I love it. So we went to Lynchburg. We did not do a tour of the distillery. We went to go look around Lynchburg because it was between where we were and where we were in Tullahoma. It was between Tullahoma, where we were, and where we were driving back to in Franklin. So we were stopping by. There's like a downtown square area that's super cute. We were there on St. Patrick's Day. Everything closed at 4:30. Literally everything closed at 4:30. And I'm like, why is the entire town closed at 4:30? But I was able to pick up some drinks. So I brought home 2 of these bags with 6 packs of Jack Daniels. And so I loved, when I tell you the way that 90s college Emily loved a Lynchburg lemonade and a Jack and Coke, let me just tell you the way that college Emily loved a Jack and Coke and a Lynchburg lemonade. The lemonades are in the other one, but they have different flavors of what essentially is the Lynchburg lemonade. So I got some watermelon punch. We got a whole bunch. We got like a variety pack. This one's also watermelon. 2 of them fell. The grape ones fell out, but we've got grape ones. What are these? Down home punch. I'm very excited. So we got a variety of flavors. I'm very, very excited about this watermelon. So yeah, 90s Emily lost her mind when I saw that we got to get all of the Jack Daniels. They sell them also by the case. We just did the 6 packs. 2 of them fell out. I'm going to tell you why. So I had 2 of them set in the bags, these bags with the 6 packs of glass bottled booze. This is what has happened to this bag. Because Fred. So Fred got his head into this loop and freaked himself out. So when Fred jumped down from where he was investigating these, he pulled the entire thing with him. The whole thing. He pulled an entire 6-pack of this bag, which is why it ripped, because those are heavy. So he pulled the whole thing off, crashed it completely onto the floor, and then had this stuck around his head. And then I was trying to find him to get this off of his head, and he did not want to be found. So Fred's walking around like this with this thing around his head. George puffed himself up. George went as large as a cat can go, all of the hair on end. And Fred was walking around making crinkly noises every time he moved. I finally just sat down on the floor and let him come to me and got this off of his head, which took no time. But this freaking cat just ripped the weight of the drinks ripped the bag. But Fred was just, none of them broke. 2 of them spilled from being sideways, and I think the caps loosened, but none of these bottles broke. I was absolutely shocked because they went flying across my laundry room because I had put them up on the drink refrigerator to put them into the drink refrigerator so I could drink the drinks when they are cold, because these are going to wait until the weather's a little warmer so I can go sit on our covered and screened patio with a fire going with a drink. I cannot wait. But these bottles did not break. I was shooketh. I was shooketh. So Fred has Fred has done the things, and you guys are like, if the cap's loosen, you have to drink them. I know, we absolutely have to drink them. Fred has just done all the things today. So now he is hiding. He's been kind of hiding all day. But life with cats, it's always it's always it's always something. But it was just hilarious. To me, it was like, it scared the ever living shit out of me because it was such a clatter. I could not figure out, like, the sound didn't make sense because it's like bag ripping, glass falling. I was like, what in the heck happened? Yes, chat. Mischief absolutely managed because Fred. Mischief absolutely managed because Fred. It was just, and Jay Ellie in the chat said, why do cats constantly try to end their own lives? Because they have 9. So they give none of the fucks. Like zero, none. My mom is like, hello, mother. Good to see you. Mom, okay. So I was gonna do this story later, but since my mom's on, we're gonna talk a little smack about USC first. So let us go. Fred scared the crap out of himself. He is completely he is fine now. The rest of the day he was being very sassy, but the desk getting reset was a thing, and he couldn't help but investigating that bag because curious and cats are synonymous. We need to talk a little bit about USC first. We're going to do that first in the weekly roundup. I was going to have you guys vote, but then I saw my mom in the chat and I was like, "Oh, well, we're going to talk about USC first." So, let us get into our weekly roundup. All right, weekly roundup. It's time for the weekly roundup. We're going to talk again. For those of you that were not following this, maybe I should have swooped. I didn't swoop. We're weekly rounduping. The college blues admissions scandal, or Operation Varsity Blues, Varsity Blues college admissions scandal. There is one of the trials that is going on presently involving the USC men's water polo coach. Now, the USC men's water polo coach, I disclosed this on Tuesday when I talked about this, or was it last Friday? Time is, a construct, and I forgot the last time I talked about this. It might have been Friday, it might have been Tuesday, it might be lunch meat, it might be peaches. I don't know. But the last time I talked about this story, I disclosed this is not my favorite human in the world. This is a human I know. This is not my favorite water polo team. We are a UCLA family. My brother played at UCLA. There's lots of history there. So this is not my favorite person ever. I think it's completely douchey that they have ruined the legacy of this program by allegedly allowing people to bribe their way onto the recruit list so that the admissions offices were told these are recruits when they weren't, in fact, athletic recruits. We have not seen a ton of trials in these cases because most people have pled guilty and then moved on with their life with very limited consequences, in my opinion. So this case is now in trial. On March 17th, yesterday, an FBI agent was testifying. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that testimony and then tell you what's going on in that case now. It is still going on. We're still in the prosecution's case in chief. The defense has just entered a new witness list, and there is some fighting about whether or not that witness list will be sealed. So we will see who's coming up on the defense witness list. But coming from Law 360, we are just going to pull this up and share it with the class. Is screen sharing ready, Emily? Negative, Ghost Rider. We are professionals here. It is not. All right, coming from Brian Dowling at Law 360, the FBI agent admits Varsity Blues cooperator was a con man. Speaking of cons, I'm going to be recording a podcast episode soon about Anna Delvey. I cannot help but watching Inventing Anna. I am fascinated by fraudsters. Look, I just am. All right, let us continue. Let us continue. Mom, I know you're not over on the YouTubes to see the chat, but you're getting lots of love on the chat. Lots of love. So, FBI agent acknowledged to a Boston federal jury Thursday that the central. Wait a second. They made a Boston jury be in trial on St. Patrick's Day? What is happening? Court holiday. It's Boston. What are you doing? I have never seen a St. Patrick's Day like a Boston St. Patrick's Day. Either way. An FBI agent acknowledged to the Boston federal jury on St. Patrick's Day that the central cooperator in the Varsity Blues college admission scheme was a con man, as lawyers for the former USC coach sought to show that their client was more victim than co-conspirator. I will remind you that when the soccer coach asked Jovan Vavic about participating in this scheme, he basically said, tell the admissions office that this is the best recruit you've ever seen. Fuck them. Fuck them. That's what he told the soccer coach. So whether or not Singer, the guy who orchestrated this whole thing, was a con man, because obviously, it doesn't make Jovan a victim benefiting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to be bribed to pretend people were recruits. It's not like he didn't know they weren't recruits. I'm just saying. So I don't think a jury is going to be swayed by the fact that the lead orchestrator was also a con man. I mean, who else is convincing all of these coaches to take bribes and to bribe the admissions office? Ugh. For the chat, Olivia Jade was allegedly a rower at USC, not a water polo player. Way too short to pass as a water polo player. Rower. They tried to pose her as a rower. They put her on a little erg machine or a water rower, and we're like, look, cute. Don't get me started on Olivia Jade. So the testimony from FBI Special Agent Keith Brown, that is the most FBI Special Agent name. It's just so generic. So generic. From Special Agent Keith Brown came on the 6th day of trial for the former USC water polo coach Jovan Vavic, who was accused of taking bribes through scheme ringleader William Singer in exchange for passing off wealthy children as recruited athletes. I mean, that's a pretty good summary. Vavic's attorney, Corinne Bell, asked Brown if he thought Singer was a con man. Based on my review of the calls, yes, obviously. The admission adds weight to the key defense narrative that Singer, the smooth-talking college counselor, tricked Vavic just as much as anyone else. Tricked him into taking all that money to tell the admissions office that recruits weren't recruits. I'm buying zero of this bullshit right now. I'm buying zero, none. Like, look, in some of the other frauds that we have looked at, you can look at it and be like, did they really know? Did they not know? Taking money to pass off kids that weren't recruits as recruits. You're not the victim. You're not the victim. Generally, when people start cooperating with the government, they don't become angels overnight, Brown said. Oh, by the way, the second that Singer got popped by the feds, he was like, let me tell you everything. And then Singer was the one who started making all these phone calls that were recorded by the government because he flipped on literally everyone to save his own ass. So there's that. Singer's shadow loomed over Vavic's case as it did in the first Varsity Blues trial against hedge fund founder John Wilson and casino executive Gamal Abdalaziz, I think I pronounced it Abdalaziz, who were both convicted on Monday. Yeah, exactly. On Monday, Judge Idrina, I'm going to say Trelawney because I can't not Harry Potter my brain, but Talwani, not Trelawney, warned the government against relying on the credibility challenged cooperators' statements as the judge heard wiretaps as the jury heard wiretap calls between Singer and Vavik. Bell's questions to the FBI agent appeared engineered to bring out daylight between Vavik and Singer's lies or distortions to parents during the phone calls, or crafted into their children's college admission paperwork. For instance, while Singer told Wilson that Vavik had a spot for his son on the water polo team, the coach emailed Singer that there were no guarantees he could get Wilson's son on the team, and that he would be presented to the admissions committee along with his top walk-on players, according to the emails. But he knew he wasn't a water polo. It's not like you don't know someone's not a water polo player. It's not hard. Also, if you threw one of these kids that's not a water polo player in a pool with the USC water polo team, they'd probably just drowned. Like, there is no way that you the rage I feel. Because I spent so many years of my life reeking of chlorine. I smelled like chlorine for so much of my life. To try to regain this skin took time, because chlorine. I will continue. Bell also turned the jury's attention to another email in which Singer told Wilson that Vavik told him, oh my God. Singer told Wilson that Vavik told him to embellish his son's resume. In reality, Bell said Vavik had not seen the Wilson's son's resume and only requested it be a good one. If you're going to fake it better. Bell is expected to resume her cross-examination on Friday morning. And then we get from Pacer a defense motion to seal upcoming witness information, and the amended witness list for the defense was also added to Pacer. Yes, Shannon, just the admissions office need to be like, just do egg beaters with gallons of water over your head. We'll see if you're ready. So let's take a look at this witness list just for our own, our own interest. Let's see. Joseph Aguirre, Jack Brown, Timothy Bernold, Sasha Bukhar, S.A. Caitlin Cedrone, Kent John Chabator, Katie Fuller, Alex Garfio. Reading a list of names is literally like my worst nightmare. Scott Jacobson, S.A. Elizabeth Keating, Frank, and these should be special agents, which will be interesting. Frank Kozanowski, Tim Leung, Brandon Loftus, Steve Lopes, Chris Matson, Ron Orr, interesting. Brenna Phillips, or another summary witness, Marco Panatrick, Andrew Rigo, Alexandria Reisman, Scott Simon, Rick Singer. I would love to see that. I would love to see them try to call Rick Singer. I would love it. S.A. Laura Smith, Sean Stewart, not Stuart Chains, Lisa Vavik, Mariko Vavik, so family, all of the family, James Walter, Scott Wandowski, Mike Wazowski. It's Mike Wazowski. I'm sorry, Scott Wandowski, your name is too close to Mike Wazowski, and I can't help myself. John Williams. Interesting witness list. Ron Orr is one of the only names that I'm familiar with, but I will go back through this and take a noodly Google. A lot of these are family members who are like, he would never, because that's exactly what's happening in a defense. That's what's happening. So there we go. Jovan is still on trial. We're not into the defense case yet. They have a pretty extensive witness list going on, and we will see. I've got one more quick bit that I was really interested in because I forgot this was happening. This also comes from Law 360 because I love Law 360 and I like the way they break stuff down. So the court tosses the DC AG's antitrust suit against Amazon, which is interesting in context because Amazon is in the process of closing a deal. Oh, I should have swooped. Hold on. Did it swoop? I don't know if it swooped. I don't know what's happening. Look, new computer, new problems. I didn't see a swoop on my end. Hopefully you saw a swoop on your end. I don't know what's happening. And then my story disappeared. Where is my Amazon story? Hold on. Amazon is in the process of purchasing a movie studio, and I've completely lost where it went. There we go. Yay! We found it. We found it. All right. Amazon closes 8.5 MGM deal with FTC warning on heels, but there was another Amazon case that was just dismissed. So Amazon is actually doing pretty well with this. But Amazon just completed its $8.5 billion purchase of MGM Studios on Thursday, days after European enforcers cleared the deal without conditions. But the FTC warned it can always challenge deals after they close. Any challenge from the FTC may have to wait until the confirmation of Democratic nominee of Commissioner Alvo Bedoya, because the commission currently appears to be split 2-2. So we will see. The later who have taken 2-2 between Republicans and Democrats, the later who have taken a newly aggressive stand against mergers. It will be very interesting to see because MGM Studios is already a part of Prime Video, but now we're going to get this merger where Amazon owns MGM Studios, has a lot more access to properties, and now we can see Amazon making original productions the way we see Disney making original productions because they are now owning MGM Studios. So this is a purchase of MGM Studios, not all of MGM, because MGM's a lot of things, hotels and sports and all the things, but they purchased MGM Studios. So this is a huge deal for Amazon, a huge deal for Amazon Prime. Amazon said in a statement Thursday that MGM is now a part of its Prime Video and Amazon Studio offerings, adding a catalog of more than 4,000 films and 17,000 television episodes to Amazon Studio. Apparently, the deal was announced last May. I hadn't heard of it, but this will expand what Amazon can do with originals and gives them new properties. So we will see how the FTC feels about this merger. In light of the properties that Disney has bought up and how other studios are doing, I'm not shocked by this. I think Amazon is really trying to up their streaming game, especially with Netflix smashing it with their originals. Hulu is coming up with their originals. Amazon streaming for me feels like it has kind of fallen behind. So Amazon absolutely had to do something. I'm not surprised. So $8.5 billion. MGM Studios is now a part of Amazon. So yes, as Sharon pointed out in the chat, each streaming service has a studio. So we're, I think, going to see more originals. And I don't think studios can really operate without a streaming service that they're connected to anymore because of how much this has changed. But look, the Amazon deal with Whole Foods ended up being great for consumers. I'm sure this will be great for consumers too. Amazon streaming truly is the kind of the least, the streaming service I look at the least with all of them. So that's what it is. Yay, Amazon. That's a quick bit for the week. What else do we need? Oh, there's more we need to get to. Hold on. We are going to do Duggar, and then we're going to just, we're almost 30 minutes in. We're going to just cut where we're at, and we are going to go to our two bigger topics. And that's what it is. So let's go to Duggar first. Let's go to Duggar. Let's just do it. Warning to the chat. We are going to be talking about two. We're going to do Duggar, and then we're going to do Smollett, and then we are going to get Dr. B in here, and we are going to do a celebration of 200K with an Ask Me Anything. With that, we are going to be talking about two very polarizing figures. The chat rules apply even to people that we're like yuck about. So thank you, chat, for being here with me, even when I forgot our Saltzy update. Darn it, Emily. Don't do that. Okay, wait, we've got to do that first. We're going to do that first. Hold on. We've got to do the things. Let's do that first. Me, I've reversed myself. Also me. Yep. And then we will get back to Then we will get back to our two main topics. All right. Let's do this real quick. Let me see if I pulled up what I was looking for. No, this is the wrong one. Ah, darn it all. Why is stuff not saving where I want it to? Because that's what happens when you have a new computer, Emily. Get it together. This is what happens when you're also running around like a chicken with your head cut off all day and don't have time to do things. Emily, these are streamer problems. Yeah, these are streamer problems. Let's see. This is not pulling up what I thought it was pulling up, and I am very, very confused. Give me 1 second. Sorry, y'all. I am trying to make things pull up, and they are fighting with me. Uh, let's see. Because we have fun stuff. I just needed to upload so I can show it to you. Because why wouldn't it? Because why would it? I'm gonna swoop in just a second. Nope, let's do this. These are not tech problems. These are absolutely attorney. These are attorney error. This is Emily attorney error. Emily, how'd you get to 200,000? I don't know. we need to talk about Saltzy real quick. So we're going to talk about Saltzy. We have not covered this case a lot. Why? Because it hurt my head. And I didn't like it. That's why. So we are going to be talking about the Sharell's World lawsuit real quick. Do y'all remember when we covered this initial lawsuit and I literally just screamed into the camera for like an hour because I couldn't figure out anything the attorneys were saying? Like, I couldn't figure out anything the attorneys were saying. So this is the Eric Rosenbrook, Lita Margarita versus Sharell's World case. We have not covered it a ton. I know Sharell's been covering it. So if you want to go see the coverage of this lawsuit over on her channel, you can absolutely go take a look at this lawsuit. She's broken it down. If you guys want me to revisit it, we will. But the suit got dismissed and resolved. And so now we've got a motion for attorney's fees from Saltzy. But the motions for attorney fees generally have some nuggets in them, and like how much the attorneys are charging and the kind of work that they do. And since we haven't covered this a ton, I thought it might be fun to go through the attorney's fees motion just a little bit, because we haven't gotten an attorney fee motion, to my recollection, in any of the Saltzy cases we've covered, and we generally learn so much from them. So I think I swooped. I'm pretty sure I did. And let us cover this real quick, and then we will actually, let me see if I can do it this way. Did that make it bigger at all? I don't know if it did. I'm trying to make it bigger for y'all. Let's see if that makes it bigger. I don't know. No, that's going to block stuff. New computer, new problem. It's very much a biggie issue. Mo money, mo problems. All right. I'm going to keep doing it the way I was doing it, and it's just going to be fine the way I do it. All right, let's look at the hearing on the motion for attorney's fees. Defendants Sharell's World, Sharell and William Lloyd, aka Perry Sanders, through their counsel, make this motion for attorney's fees. Because defendants, I'm just going to refer to Sharell's World as all of the defendants at once because it's easy. Because the defendants prevailed on their special motion to dismiss pursuant to Nevada's anti-slap statute, they are entitled to recover their reasonable attorney's fees. Y'all, no shade to Sharell or Saltzy, but I can't wait for this motion in the Ethan Klein Triller case. Ethan also won on an anti-slap, so we will see a motion like this in the Triller case, and we will get to go through all of it, which is fun. Let's go through the relevant facts and history, and then we don't have to revisit this lawsuit, which will be great. On July 26, 2021, plaintiffs filed a complaint alleging causes of action for unreasonable intrusion upon seclusion of another, unreasonable publicity given to private facts, defamation, and conspiracy based on the above-mentioned communications. Are there above mentioned communications? Oh, the suit improperly targeting free speech, I think, is what we're referencing. It also mandates that the court must award the prevailing defendant their reasonable attorney's fees and costs. Um, on August 23rd, 2021, defendants filed a motion to dismiss pursuant to Nevada Rule of Civil Procedure 12B5, a motion for more definitive statement pursuant to Nevada Rule of Civil Procedure 12E. On September 30th, the court issued a minute order dismissing the claims for unreasonable intrusion upon seclusion of another and unreasonable publicity given to private facts. Plaintiffs were ordered to clarify the defamation and conspiracy claims. Clarifying means, what the fuck are you suing me for anyway? What is this shit? Can you explain? On October, that's never, by the way, if the judge is like, I don't even understand why you're suing, it's never a good sign. On October 26th, defendants filed their opposition to the motion to reconsider or set aside an order on defendant's motion to dismiss. On November 18th, God, we love a concise run through. I don't have to give a case brief. It's just here. We love it. On November 18th, the court denied plaintiff's motion to reconsider or set aside. That means they didn't like that their causes had been dismissed, and they're like, yo, don't dismiss my shit, man. Make it live again. Make it live. And the court said negative ghostwriter, the pattern's full. On December 1st, plaintiffs filed their amended complaint clarifying the defamation and conspiracy claims. January 18th, defendants timely filed another anti-SLAPP motion. On February 2nd, plaintiffs filed an untimely response. No shade there. Excuse me, plaintiffs. You filed your response late, and we are never going to let you forget. Oh, and then you lost. Plaintiffs filed an untimely response in opposition to the special motion to dismiss, the SLAPP motion. February 2nd, defendants filed a reply in support of their special motion to dismiss. On February 3rd, the court heard oral argument on the anti-SLAPP motion. February 3rd, the court orally granted the anti-SLAPP motion. February 23rd, the court entered its order granting the anti-SLAPP motion. The legal argument, the court must award attorney's fees. That's part of the statute. It's part of the statute. We're not going to go through the law because it's part of the statute that you get attorney's fees. So we are not. Defendants' requested fees and costs are reasonable. You have to prove, if attorneys are saying, hey, we're billing $5,000 an hour, like, you have to prove why the fuck you're billing that much. If you're billing $600 an hour, you have to prove why that's a reasonable amount of attorney's fees and then what your costs were spent on. You can't just run up the bill and be like, pay it now. So let's get into rates. Hello, Fred. Get away from that bag, Fred. Leave the bag alone. Now he's looking at the other bag. Leave the bags alone. Leave the bags alone. Leave them alone. So they've got to show that their fees are reasonable. Let's see. The local counsel, Gordon Sully. I'm just going to go with Gordon Sully or Gordon Reese Sully. Sorry, Manskuhani. I can't. Are asking for $26,604 in fees. Jacobson, Russell, Saltz, Nassam, and De La Torre, Saltz's firm, is asking for $25,276.65. So the total request of fees in this matter is $51,880. I imagine that the cost and fees in the Klein Triller case is probably going to be double this. That would be my guess. My guess would be it's double. The litigation in this matter was complex and time-consuming for several reasons. In addition to the time and cost associated with filing of the anti-SLAPP motion, a separate motion to dismiss was required by the ambiguity of the original complaint. I love the shade. Hey, plaintiffs, it's your fault. Your original complaint sucked. So we had to file more litigation, which cost us more money based on your failure. Therefore, suck it and pay our attorney's fees. In this case, defendants were required to spend significant time researching and presenting the anti-SLAPP motion to dismiss. As this court is aware, to prevail on a special motion to dismiss, the defendant must establish by a preponderance of the evidence that the claim is brought upon a good faith communication in furtherance of the right to petition or right to free speech in direct connection with the issue of public concern. And then you've got to prove all the things, which we've gone over in all of the anti-SLAPP we've covered. You've got to prove all of the things to shift the burden to the defendant. To meet this burden, defendants' counsel had to conduct extensive research to determine whether each of the statements alleged in plaintiff's complaint were good faith communications regarding issues of public concern. Exhibit 1, paragraph 7. Counsel is required to watch and rewatch the complaint of YouTube videos and pore over numerous pages of documents to establish the defendants had a good faith belief in the veracity of their communications. Counsel were also required to conduct extensive research regarding Nevada and California's constantly evolving anti-SLAPP laws, as well as federal case law interpreting both states' anti-SLAPP laws. Defendants' counsel's appropriate billing, judgment, and structured work on this case. They appropriate the billing, judgment, and structured work. So the two firms were working together. They weren't duplicating work. The hours listed in the fee request are neither duplicative, unnecessary, or excessive. To keep billing as low as possible, the bulk of the heavy lifting associated with the drafting of the motion along with other pleadings was handled by local counsel and their associate, who accounted for approximately 90% of the hours billed by GRSM. And the billable rate is at $265 an hour, which is a really reasonable rate on the lower end of a reasonable rate, I think. Potentially duplicative or unnecessary time has not been included. Counsel also exercised appropriate billing judgment by not including this application certain time, even time which would likely be compensable. So then they go through the factors to support the fees. The advocate's skills support a high award. To be considered in determining the reasonable value of an attorney's services, they go with the qualities of the advocate, including ability, training, education, experience. And then I'm sure we're going to hear about the resume. Schumer, the partner or the managing partner of the Las Vegas office of Gordon Reese, has more than 29 years of experience in the areas of complex class commercial litigation, is an associate at the Las Vegas, let's see, the other one, Shriner? No, yes. There's two, Schumer and Shriner, I hope I pronounced that right, is an associate in Las Vegas of Gordon Reese, works closely with the other attorney, is a graduate of the University of Arizona School of Law, has more than 5 years of litigation experience. Saltz is a named partner and managing partner of the litigation department at JRSND. Saltz was admitted to the bar in 1997 and has been practicing law continuously since then. Saltz has significant experience in representing clients in all facets of the entertainment industry. By way of example, not limitation, Saltz has successfully handled matters for such clients as Tommy Lee Jones, William Shatner. This is the fun part, is getting to why are you worth what you're worth? And then we get the resume, which is always fun. Let's see. Tommy Lee Jones, William Shatner, Mike Myers, Candy Spelling, Donnie and Marie Osmond, AJ Cook, Ted Danson, Ringo Starr. Well, don't we know about that? We're well familiar with the Ringo case. We do need to get into, wait, did I miss some? I missed some. Did I miss a line? Because I don't think I said Mike Myers. Did I say Mike Myers? I think I did. Maybe I didn't. We're well familiar with Ringo Starr. We covered the Ringo Starr case. If you haven't seen that particular episode of Law Nerds After Dark and are ready for a very interesting and different kind of intellectual property case, go ahead and find that episode because oh my. Don Fiedler, Terrence Howard. We need to get back to the Terrence Howard suit because it also has a Kavanaugh tilt, and we're just going to go 6 degrees of Kavanaugh separation. Bruce Campbell, and many other clients and matters at the highest levels of the industry. So traditional media. In addition, I love all of the people. In addition to representing traditional entertainment industry clients in all manner of litigation matters, Saltz's office is also one of the foremost experienced litigation and transactional law firms in the emerging field of representing new media content creators. Such new media clients that our firm has represented include, but are not limited to, Cal Merrick's approximately 43.1 million follower with an average of 6.6 million views per video on TikTok. Vanos Gaming, approximately 25.7 million YouTube subscribers and over 12 billion views. Toddy Westbrook, well, aren't we aware? Approximately 8.6 million YouTube subscribers and 1.47 billion views. Look, I was really chuffed that I had crossed over 22 million views. See, here's the thing. My kid teases me because the subscriber number has a K and not an M. Now I'm going to start getting flack from Griffin about the fact that my views has an M and not a B. All of the views. Toddy Westbrook with over 1.47 billion views, and Ryan's World, which is approximately the largest and most successful YouTube creator in the world, approximately 32 million subs and 50 billion views. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you guys for the ones that remember the Ringo case. You know, Janice, you know. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Oh, and Ryan's World. We speculated about whether Saltz represented Ryan's World because of the Hubbard case where we determined, but there was a little drop in a footnote in one of the Westbrook KJ defamation suits that talked about representing like the highest earning YouTube channel in a particular year, and we had Googled it and Ryan came up. So that began our speculation, but then the Hubbard case kind of clarified things as we started following that case. So we know we followed the Hubbard case, which went successfully. If you guys haven't seen that coverage, we covered it a while back. We could always go back, but not today. So they talk about Saltz's presence in this case being required as he's has highly specialized skill and expertise in the emerging area of law that's not commonly known or practiced by most litigators. Yeah, most litigators are like, YouTube who? YouTube what? Let's see. To be certain, this case involved a unique interplay of traditional entertainment media personalities, e.g. reality television shows, interfacing with new media content creators, YouTube pop culture talk show. During Saltz's career, he has successfully prosecuted complex litigation cases against Epson and Apple, among other large corporations, and has negotiated settlements in excess of $900 million and has been awarded attorney's fees in cases in excess of $1 million for his time in prosecuting such matters. Saltz has also successfully litigated against the state of California and having certain of its statutes declared unconstitutional. Oh. Additionally, Saltz is the published author of various articles for lawyer.com and the author of a litigation guide for LexisNexis and Matthew Bender, which are legal publications, that displays his name on its front cover. In December 2021, the Honorable Michael P. Linfield, in case number 20, this one, pending in the LA Superior Court, awarded Saltz fees, finding his rate of $750 per hour to be reasonable for an attorney of his unique experience and skill. He could probably bill higher than that, but I understand in attorney fees motions, it's reasonable. Because look, we're out here watching, Holland and Knight billing well over $1,000 an hour, and we're not seeing resumes like this. So I'm just saying. Queen Levine is senior counsel at JRSN. Indeed. Ms. Levine is a highly experienced litigator with a background in complex litigation, specifically in representative and class action matters. Since 2005, Levine has litigated nearly 200 representative and/or class actions and has participated in the settlement process of approximately 75 class actions. That's a lot of class actions. She is also one of the foremost experienced litigators in the field, representing new media creators, including the largest and most successful YouTube creator in the world. I imagine that's Ryan. Watch out, Saltz. You got to go grab Mr. Beast too, because I think he's probably coming for Ryan. But Ryan's been doing it longer at this level than Mr. Beast has. Just saying. No shade to Mr. Beast, by the way, or to Saltz. Let's see. Ms. Levine is also a frequent contributor to numerous legal publications on a range of topics, including California employment law and FLSA issues. Issues involving the struggles unique to women in the legal community. I mean, girl, we're washing our hair for that conversation. And issues concerning the nuances of law within a pandemic. She also speaks on emerging areas of complex litigation. In December 2021, in the case we were just talking about, she was awarded a rate of $600 per hour. The attorneys and employees of GRSM billed 92.7 hours on the case. And then they go into the reasonable fees. The attorneys at JRSND billed 36.7 hours on the case for a total of 25,000. The total amount billed, and then they went into the total amount billed. We talked about the work to be done, which we know from the case that we covered. The work performed involves skill and time. It does when you're dealing with all the things together. The result is also considered. Lastly, the result, whether the attorney was successful and what benefits were derived. Well, the case got dismissed before it got going and they're awarded attorney's fees. So, I agree with based on the foregoing, defendant's request is reasonable. The billing rates are low, I think, for the experience of these attorneys based on what we've seen in other cases, making it likely that Sharell will receive all of her attorney's fees. I think that I don't see any reason for the court to be like, are you sure? It makes sense why you would need local counsel in Nevada, counsel in California that deals with media when you're dealing with a case about defamation, when you've got traditional media personalities suing YouTube personalities for defamation. This seems to be an area where Saltzy's firm is going to become more and more the firm of choice when it comes to these types of cases based on their representation, not just in the Toddy Westbrook case, but the complex litigation they've done in other cases as well. Hashtag not sponsored, just amused. And then we've got the declaration of Nevada counsel in support of attorney's fees, which is going to be all of the stuff that we saw listed up above. These are just the signed exhibits. I don't know why I hate this font, but I kind of do. The billing sheets on what they were working on. Billing makes me want to barf. I'm just going to be totally honest. Emily, how do you feel about traditional law? Being a DA was way fun because you got to do the things you needed to do and not have to worry about billing it. Let's see. Billing hours summary. Professional services, and this breaks down literally every single thing, all of the hours done with their billing system. It is a lot. Calls, conference calls, drafts, phone calls, all the like billing, and then the fees, when we look at fees, are like the filing fees, and those are all broken down by exactly what they are, which is actually really helpful for the court. Let's see. Billing summary, declarations, declaration of Saltzy in support of the motion. Let's see. This is going to be a lot of what we saw up above, because this is this is the verified form that it gets put into the motion, but we've got lots of Candy Spelling condo lawsuit. I didn't know Candy Spelling had a condo lawsuit. Wins eviction lawsuit. I ain't going nowhere. What? Candy Spelling ain't no condo squatter. She just scored a big legal victory against her landlord, who claimed Candy was living in her building illegally and wanted to give her the boot. TMZ broke the story. Candy's been living in a $28,000 a month. What the fuck? Yo. When was this TMZ article written? 2013. The inflation of it all. $28,000 a month condo at the famous Carlyle building in LA, while the finishing touches are being put on her $47 million penthouse. Well, of course. The landlord sued Candy in February, claiming she refused to hightail it out of her unit, even though the lease expired, but Candy fired back, insisting that she had the right to extend her lease for 6 months. And that's exactly what she did. The judge agreed and ruled in Candy's favor. Candy's lawyer, Michael Saltz, tells TMZ her next step will be to force the landlord to pay her extremely large legal bill. And I bet that happened. Yes, for the chat, this is Tori Spelling's mother. Yes, that is who Candy Spelling is. Amused. I kind of love the links. I saw TMZ and I was like, what? Here's a little peeky peek on the Ringo case before the US Trademark and Patent Office, dealing with Ringo versus Ringo. But again, if you want the real tea on that case, you need to go and look. But yes, this says Ringo Starr sex toy settlement. This is the settlement on that case. But we covered it. We well covered it. Let's see what else. Arnold Schwarzenegger faces uncertain future. Mildred Baena hires LA law firm. A woman identified by some media as the mother of former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger's out of wedlock son has hired a Los Angeles law firm. Lawyer Saltz confirms that that Mildred of Bakersfield is being represented by the firm. The website Radar Online first reported the hire, saying it received a letter from the firm challenging unflattering reports about the housekeeper. Interesting. So all of the hey, these are the people I represented of it all. We talk about, he goes back and talks about Ryan's World and the Hubbard case and the negotiated settlements. This is all the stuff that's in the motion. And same with Miss Levine and their hourly rates and how much time they spent working on the case. More billables. And that is that. So that was a fun jaunt through the who's who of Saltzy's client roster. I'm sure he represents some YouTubers that don't have over 10 million subs, but maybe they didn't make the list. So I think that Sharell will get her attorney's fees. I think it's something when we're looking at people suing YouTubers over what's said, there are times and places for it. There are things that are defamatory, but then there are things that are free speech. Your feelings being hurt is not defamatory. Saying shit that isn't true about someone that damages their reputation can be defamatory. And then there's defamation per se. You can't accuse people of being criminals and having diseases and stepping out on their spouse in most states and stuff like that. Just this is going to happen more and more. We are going to see this happening more and more because YouTube channels don't have a legal department. Like, how many of you in the chat are watching and Inventing Anna, if you watched it? What you see when they are talking about the Manhattan journalist is that, hey, this has to get approved by legal. You have someone else going, where's your fact checking on this? Where's your fact checking on that? On YouTube, people can turn off a camera and pop off bullshit that they've made up or that they've extrapolated wrongly from somewhere else and be like, this means that, and this means that, and this person's a criminal or killed their mother or whatever. And if those things aren't true, they can be defamatory. But traditional media outlets have a checks and balance system that don't always work perfectly either. We see traditional media getting sued for defamation, but at least they have a department. On YouTube, there is no regulation except the creator's own integrity, truly, and knowledge. So I think we're going to see more of this, and I won't be surprised if we do. We'll keep covering it, but you also can't use defamation lawsuits to bully people like we're seeing in the Cav Ethan Klein case. What Ethan Klein said is not defamatory. It's just not. So, but you can find a lawyer to cash a check. Let us talk. What were we going to talk about next? Duggar. Warning. We're talking about people that are polarizing. Please follow the chat rules. We're going to talk about this motion for continuing sentencing. Because of course we are, because I booked my plane flight. Why wouldn't there be a motion to continue sentencing today? There's other stuff today. We'll go to the docket first. Yes, I know about the docket. Jen Shaw, we know all about the docket. Don't talk to me about a docket. I need to make that a soundbite clip on the channel that we can use. Let's talk about Duggar's docket. Let's talk about Duggar's docket first. I'm going to swoop. And then we're going to call Dr. B in here and pour another glass of whiskey. Let's talk Duggar's docket real quick. Ooh, I hear thunder. I guess the storm is catching up to my part because I can hear it rumbling. All right. So the sentencing recommendation as to Duggar was filed under seal. Boo. The final pre-sentence investigation report was filed under seal. Boo. The motion to continue sentencing was not filed under seal, and that's what we're going to talk about. So let us get into that motion right now. Josh Duggar's attorneys have filed to continue his sentencing. Tell me why. We're going to find out right now. Let's talk about why. Defendant Josh Duggar, by and through counsel, respectfully requests that this court continue the sentencing hearing In this case, by approximately 30 days. Nope. Nope. No. We are not continuing it till the beginning of June. No, 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 no. No. Specifically, the defense would benefit from a brief continuance. I'm sure that you would. You have had plenty of time. You knew that this sentencing was set back in February. In February, the sentence was set for April 5th. You've had since February. Okay. The defense would benefit, and this might be enough for the court to decide to grant it because they don't want to rumble with the appellate court. The defense would benefit from a brief continuance to provide additional time to pursue additional information and documentation related to a possible 18 USC 3553A consideration. Hold on. Because I don't remember 3553A off the top of my head. I'm just going to pull it up real quick because I need to see the heading of the code section. Let's see. Oh, it's all the factors to be considered in the imposition of a sentence. So the nature and circumstances of the offense, the kinds of sentences available. So this is for their sentencing motion. They want more time to explore what can be considered at the sentencing. So more time to present things to the court that might mitigate or reduce the sentence versus aggravate or increase the sentence. We know that this is a 5-year prison sentence minimum up to a 20-year maximum, and it can be somewhere in between 5 and 20. So the defense wants to argue to mitigate the sentence to keep it as low as possible, and the prosecution will try to aggravate it to bump it up. Well, we'll see in their sentencing memo, if it's not sealed, what they say. Additionally, because of certain reasonable, I like that they're like genuflecting to the court. They're reasonable, I swear. Because of certain reasonable precautions understandably instituted, we're not complaining about the precautions for the vid. We're not. They're reasonable, they're understandable, but please. It's a lot of genuflecting for the attorneys. I mean, it just because of certain reasonable precautions understandably instituted at the jail where Duggar is being detained, it has been more difficult scheduling meetings with him than during more ordinary times. But here's the thing. Those precautions were in place during all of your pretrial preparation. But he was out of custody, Emily. Yeah, he was. He was on home detention. All right, that's fair. But still, this can't be the first client that they are dealing with this with. Schedule a Zoom. Finally, while defense counsel can and would be available for the current sentencing date, good. That's good. Let's do that. Certain scheduling issues arising out of unrelated cases would be more easily resolved if this court were to grant the requested continuance. We're not going to I guess it would be early May, not early June. Oh, come on. Can we just do it April 5th? May 5th is literally May 5th isn't good. Your Honor, May 5th isn't good for me. I know that matters literally zero. I'm being sarcastic. As it stands, Duggar's sentencing hearing is scheduled for April 5th. Any sentencing memorandum must be filed 14 days in advance of that date, and any motion for downward departure must be filed at least 4 days prior to sentencing. Furthermore, at least 3 days prior to sentencing, the parties must notify this court of any substantive pre-sentence investigation report objections that remain outstanding, which will require the court's resolution. But, Your Honor, you've got work today, too. You've got work to do, too. Pending before this court is Duggar's motion for judgment of acquittal and, in the alternative, motion for new trial. The parties' respective objections to the initial disclosure of the pre-sentencing report. Duggar seeks this brief continuance of the sentencing hearing and related deadlines tethered to the date of sentencing to allow him sufficient time to obtain certain additional information. What else? What else could you possibly need? I love the chat is like Cinco de Mayo is good for literally zero of us. Accurate. What else could you possibly need? You've known what the charges are. You done knew this. You knew it. You knew it. Further, I'm sorry to make velociraptor noises at all of you. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't have any answer for that. Furthermore, because of certain precautions understandably put in place, uh, they've faced delays scheduling certain attorney-client privilege meetings by video conference with Duggar. As such, defense would benefit from more time to meet and confer with Duggar. And they put that in because, again, if this gets denied and they need to appeal it, they will be saying, well, see, we asked for more time and we haven't been able to meet with him because of the vid. So can you just? And because of that, the court might. But they've known of his sentencing for over 4 months. They've had adequate time to do this. So we'll see. I hope the court just denies it. This request for a brief continuance of the sentencing is not intended to unnecessarily delay or hinder the proceedings, but is instead made solely to allow Duggar sufficient time to acquire all relevant information, which will be necessary for fully briefing his sentencing arguments, to confer with counsel, and to alleviate certain scheduling issues arising out of unrelated cases. That factor, the court gives zero shits about. Counsel, your scheduling is irrelevant. Deal with your other cases. You've known about this since February. It does happen. And certain cases, the court will say, oh, if you're going to be in trial. But defense counsel truthfully said to the court, I'm available and we can be at sentencing, but like it's inconvenient for us. Undersigned counsel has conferred with counsel for the U.S., who has represented that the United States defers to this court on this motion. So the government didn't object. The government deferred to the court. This might get granted. Based on the foregoing, Duggar respectfully requests that this court enter an order continuing the sentencing hearing and all related deadlines by approximately 30 days to a date and time convenient for the court. Because I booked travel, I feel personally attacked by Josh Duggar. I'm teasing. I'm being sarcastic. This happens. Sentencing hearings go over. Trials go over. The defense has asked for other continuances, but this continuance won't greatly delay things. A 30-day continuance asked for by the defendant for more time to prepare their arguments for a downward departure. It's not going to go below 5, but it can go, maybe just at 5. Might get granted by the court. It's not an unreasonable amount of time. It is the defendant's rights. He's in custody, so there's no risk that he's going to get out of custody. And it might get granted. It's annoying AF, but it might get granted. I'm annoyed. All of you, are you annoyed? Let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're annoyed. I'm annoyed. I am annoyed, but it is not unreasonable. Should we continue the train of annoyance right into the Smollett case? Should we just choo-choo? Let's just continue. Let's continue our stream of annoyance right into WTF is going on with Jussie Smollett. Let's swoop and let's be annoyed together. Jussie Smollett got released from custody pending appeal. What does that mean? That's what we should talk about. That means that the appellate court believes that should we just tell you what the appellate court said? I should. Let's look at what the appellate court said, and then we'll work our way backwards and look at what the defense is asking for. Let's go to the appellate ruling. People of the state versus Jussie Smollett. The cause having come on hearing on motion of the defendant, Jussie Smollett, to stay his sentence of incarceration and grant him a bond pending the disposition of his appeal, and the court being advised in the premises. Finding that the defendant has been convicted on a nonviolent offense or on nonviolent offenses, and that this court will be unable to dispose of the inset appeal before the defendant would have served the entire sentence of incarceration. It's ordered that the motion of the defendant to stay his sentence of incarceration, to grant him a bond pending the disposition of his appeal or until further order of the court is granted, the defendant, Jussie Smollett, shall be released from custody upon posting of a personal recognizance bond in the amount of $150,000, which means he has to sign that he will come back. Here's why he is out pending appeal. This does not mean he will never have to serve his sentence. The appellate court is saying that if his appeal is granted and his conviction is overturned, then him serving all of his incarceration sentence, all 5 months, which won't be 5 months, it'll be half of that because it's day for day. Thank you to everyone in the chat who confirmed that it was day for day in Chicago or in Illinois, that he will be irreparably harmed because he'd have already served it. So he doesn't have just like this massive sentence. If you have a 10-year sentence and you're pending appeal and they're like, oh, this is going to take like 6 to 8 months, like you're in for 10 years. We're not just letting you out, particularly when it's a violent offense. This is a nonviolent offense. It is a several month custody sentence. They are suspending the sentence. They're not terminating the sentence. They're suspending it, meaning if the appeal is denied, he can go back in to serve the rest of his sentence. I wonder if him serving a little less than a week was enough that he might be like, I never want to do this again. But that's also a concern that he might now be inclined to and not come back. That's my concern. So, my ice cube is binging. I don't know if you heard that. My ice cube is binging that it's lonely. I heard you. Don't worry. We'll get there. So with that, the defense is asking for an appeal, and this is the initial motion to stay. This is not the full appeal. If you want me to go over the full appeal, which is not filed yet, we will. The motion or the emergency motion to stay was based on a few different points. The points being that, here, we're just going to go through them real quick. In 2019, the defendant, and I'm not going to say defendant, appellant, we know, the defendant was indicted on multiple disorderly conduct counts in the matter of People versus Smollett. Sometime in March 2019, defendant reached an agreement for pretrial diversion with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office in the above-mentioned case. As a part of the agreement in 2019, Smollett was ordered to complete community service and forfeit his $10,000 bail bond to the city. This is the heart of the issue. The defense at the sentencing argued like a whole bunch of shit. This is the only shit that actually really matters and stands a chance of overturning this conviction. The reason the conviction would be overturned is because of double jeopardy and the fact that he couldn't legally be prosecuted a second time. So if you can't be prosecuted a second time, you certainly can't be convicted. And it's whether or not this agreement was an actual diversion agreement. And this happens in prosecutors' offices where people come in and do diversion. It's like, look, we've got this police report. We can charge you with this. If you do these things, we will not charge you with a crime. This happens in like neighbor disputes all the time. This happens in first offenses, nonviolent offenses, graffiti offenses. It's like, clean it up, pay the restitution to the city, and we're not going to charge you with this. We're not going to go through the court process. We will informally do diversion so that you don't get charged. Generally, those diversion agreements are written out in some fashion, but they're not always approved by the court. They are informally done within the prosecutor's office. So if the appellate court feels that this agreement and that Jussie did this was a diversion, then he can't be prosecuted a second time. If they don't believe that this was a diversion, or the question though is, was this diversion got by fraud? And the fact that Kim Foxx had to later recuse herself and that there were other issues is going to muddy the water here. This isn't just a cut and dry case. This is similar but distinguishable from the Cosby situation. In the Cosby case, Bill Cosby was convicted and sentenced. He was in jail. His sentence was overturned based on not just based on Fifth Amendment grounds and double jeopardy grounds, kind of. In that case, the issue was that the prosecutors had made a non-prosecution agreement so that when Cosby went to do a deposition, he couldn't plead the fifth. He couldn't say, I have a right against self-incrimination. It's like, well, there's no criminal case pending against you. And the prosecutors have said that they're not going to prosecute you. So you have no right against self-incrimination. There's nothing to incriminate you. You're not going to be prosecuted. You have to tell us the truth in this deposition. And that deposition allowed him to reach a $3 million settlement with the victim in that case. But after a new DA came into office, a new DA said, hey, yo, fuck that shit. We're going to prosecute you anyway. And we're going to use what you said in that civil case against you. And that's the violation of the Fifth Amendment right with regard to Bill Cosby. This is different, saying we initiated prosecution once. They did an indictment once, and the indictment was dismissed because of this diversion agreement where the $10,000 was forfeited and there was community service. If the court finds that that was in fact a diversion agreement, then his conviction will get overturned because it should have been diverted in the first place, even if the diversion was gotten under suspicious circumstances. And I will be very interested to see how the appellate court parses this. This is not a super clear cut. This is not a super clear cut yes or no for me. I know there are other lawyers who disagree. Nate, the lawyer, is like, nah. Natalie, lawyer chick, is like, yeah. So we're all trying to parse this, but I think that this is a very good grounds for appeal. And the appellate court looking at this is going to say, yes, this is good grounds for appeal. And it is not in the interest of justice to hold him in custody if this appeal could get granted. These are grounds that an appeal can get granted on. And at a first glance, they look at it going, yeah, this appeal can get granted. It doesn't mean he didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't mean that he wasn't convicted on this, but it means that they shouldn't have prosecuted him a second time. He has constitutional rights, even if we think he sucks, and those constitutional rights have to be protected. Lisa said Kim Fox should be, I believe Kim Fox is being investigated and is in trouble over this as well. But the prosecutor acting shitty shouldn't impact the defendant's rights, because we don't want prosecutors overstepping, and we don't want prosecutors flip-flopping on their deals either, because that puts defendants' constitutional rights at the mercy of a politically elected DA. And that's not something that we want. So on March 26, 2019, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office acknowledged Smollett's performed his obligations of the agreement and dismissed the indictments. Attached here too is Exhibit 1, a copy of the Statement of Disposition. It's not attached to my copy. I keep trying to find it. So on February 12th, 2020, the Office of the Special Prosecutor re-indicted Smollett on the same multiple disorderly conduct counts based on the same facts. And despite his forfeiting of the $10,000 bond and completing community service, or despite those things happening, during the pendency of this case, trial, and after conviction, Smollett was released on a I bond, which I think is an own recognizance bond. On December 9th, 2021, after trial, Smollett was convicted on 5 counts of disorderly conduct. On March 10th, after denying Smollett's post-trial motions, the trial court sentenced Smollett to 30 months probation, 150 days to be served in the custody of the jail, $25,000 in fines, and $120,000 in restitution. A note on the restitution: the city is still suing him over the restitution. So even if this gets overturned on appeal, the city is still suing him over restitution. There's like a lot of other litigation still happening in this case. So the city is still suing him for that, and that won't be resolved until after this. On March 10th, 2022, Smollett filed a notice of appeal on March 10th, 2022. Notice of appeal of the March 10th sentencing and the conviction. For good cause, judicial economy, effective administration of justice. It's in the best interest of the parties to waive the appeal bond, or in the alternative, enter a time for Smollett to pay a just and reasonable bond. They're not prejudiced by the granting of this motion. Smollett has a meritorious appeal. I think that that's true. It might not be granted, but there's grounds for it. The stay of the sentence is fair. And then these are the motions: motion to dismiss double jeopardy conduct, dismiss the special prosecutor. And then they went through the other things that they brought up at the sentence and why this should be stayed pending appeal. they will file a more thoroughly vetted appeal, and we can go through that. But he has a chance on appeal. A lot of appeals you look at and you're like, I get it. Like, I get why you're saying that you want to appeal this, but this is never going to happen. That's not this case. This is not a never going to happen. This is a, oh, this is a serious question of law. And if the appellate court finds that that was a diversion agreement, this case is done. So if it would be helpful for me to dive into the facts surrounding that agreement more, I will do that on next week's podcast. So we can definitely do that. The prosecution, the special prosecutor objected to this. The court released him. It's fair that the court released him. It's annoying as fuck, but it is fair that the court released him pending the appeal. The appeal can take a year or more, and his sentence will already be done. So he's already going to be harmed by serving out the entirety of the custody sentence. He will still be under the terms of probation. He will still have to, well, he might not have to pay the fees and fines until this is resolved, but he'll still be under the own recognizance bond and under the terms of probation. So he shouldn't have anything happening, but we will see. We will see. We will see. So with that, we will talk about the other suits going on probably in the podcast, because there is another defamation suit going on with the Osendario brothers and the Garagos law firm. And then there's still that suit with the city of Chicago, but we will cover those suits later. Now it is time. I think we are done. It is time. It is time to cover some of your super chats, to let Dr. B know we are done chatting so he can come in and talk. And we can go to I have questions, you have questions, and we have celebrations. We need to celebrate. Should I have made a little like celebration graphic? Yes. Did I? No. Yay, we're at 200K. I heard thunder. I get so distracted. I get very heavily weather distracted. I love weather. I get very weather distracted. Let's see. Come on down. Why do I have to say it while I'm typing it? Because otherwise my brain won't work. I love that Fred has just like curled himself up. Let me get to some of the super chats, and then we will get into Dr. B. I got questions from the members that we are going to be getting into, because I said, ask me anything. I meant it. And we will go through and cover some of those as well. I'm going to wait for Dr. B to get in here before I pour myself some more whiskey, but it's definitely going to happen. It's definitely happen. Have you guys had a good time this evening? There's over 3,000 of you here. By the way, still like and subscribe. I mean, we still like and subscribe and do the thumbs uppy things in the chat. Do the YouTubesy things. And if you haven't followed me all over the interwebs, you are welcome to go follow me all around the interwebs. Look, I'm changing my desk setup and now I can't see my stream deck. I'm going to have to move it back to the other side. This is not helping me. This is, ooh. My ice cube made noises. This is not helping. I need it. I need it to not be on. I'm going to have to put it on the other side because now my mic's blocking it. You guys don't need to hear about my mess. You don't need to hear about the tech mess that is happening. You don't. Hello, Avaloma. Congratulations on 200K. You so deserve it. More. Adore this community. I adore this community too. I did a talk today. Ooh, that I have to send to people. I forgot to send to people. I have to send. I'm going to do that when I'm done. Where I just talk about how much I really do love this community. I love that you all can get in the chat and have a chat. I love that we can have a conversation together. I love it. I love it. I love it all. I appreciate you guys so much. And it really is such just an honor and a privilege to get to hang with all of you. And get to have the community I want to, a community of nerds who are like, oh my God, let's talk about the nerdy things, because literally most of the people in my life just don't want to hear about this stuff nonstop. And I know a lot of you feel the same way when you love something like Housewives or Supernatural or whatever it is. And the people in your life are like, I don't get it. And that's why we have communities to talk about the shit that we love. And that's what I love about this. I love this community so much. I just think you guys are absolutely the best. Catherine S. said the Illinois DA has played loosey-goosey. He deserves to be set free despite his atrocious behavior. Someone needs to take a deep dive on what's going on in the prosecutor's office. I mean, look, defendants shouldn't have to pay for government fuckery, even when that's hard and I don't like it. But what we can't do is let government elected officials run roughshod over our constitutional rights. Like, that's never okay. Even though I think Smollett should spend time in custody. But I also don't think if this individual doesn't spend time in custody, that he is going to hurt someone else. He has hurt communities through his actions, but he is not physically harming people the way that like a Bill Cosby did. So it's just the cases are very different. The offensiveness feels the same to me. It does. So I'm going to go through the super chats that we missed. I have no idea if Dr. B saw my text. I mean, the man's like, well, text me. And he literally never has his phone or his Apple Watch on him. So why do we even let him have tech? I'm only half teasing. Echo, drop in. We're going to just find him somewhere in the house. All devices. We're just going to do all the things. Echo, all devices. Don't sass me. Connecting to 3 available devices. Perfect. Took your TED Talk advice and joined the Great Resignation today. The Jaded, congratulations. Hey, Dr. B. I texted you. I'll see you soon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Congratulations on joining the Great Resignation. That's amazing. If you guys are newer here, I do have a TED Talk. It's on the TED channel, but it's also linked on this channel. And if you just search like TED or TEDx Emily D. Baker, you'll find it. But yay, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment and it's a scary leap, but it's so worth it. I mean, I wouldn't be here if I hadn't taken the chance to resign, even though my mother, I'm sure you're still watching. If she is, I'll probably get a text. But my mom was like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving the DA's office? Literally, you went to law school to get this job. I'm like, I know, but it's time. She's like, okay. Enchanted Wing says, I needed this tonight. Can't sleep because of COVID cough, so I'm staying up. I'm so sorry. That is a hard thing. I never got a bad cough, but Dr. B did, and it was totally rough. So I hear you. Hello, little one.
Hi. You called me.
I called everybody.
You called every Alexa in the house.
I did call every Alexa in the house, but you've got to come over here if you want to be on camera, or you can be back there. That's fine. The chat will say hi to Dolphiny, I am sure. How is your night going, my dude? Good. All right. Did you see that it clicked over? Did you look?
Yes.
All right. Very nice.
And also, I want to have a YouTube channel, Mom.
Stop trying to blackmail me in front of my audience. You got a haircut today, doesn't you guys? Do you see the haircut?
One says congratulate for 2,000 subscribers.
200,000. Yep. Are you just reading my chat? Do you see all the dolphins?
Yes.
All right. Do you want to say thank you?
Thank you, and also
what do you?
Make sure to check out watershop.com.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for plugging the merch.
And share to a friend.
And share with a friend. We love it.
Share to all your friends.
Bye, buddy. Go play. I'm glad it was fun. He's like, yay. Danielle said, happy Friday night, all. Thank you so much, Danielle. Oh my God, you guys, thank you for the super chats. Nicole, congratulations on 200K. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Janelle said, enjoying a Cuba Libre in your honor. Cheers. Cheers to you. And for all of you drinking water, also cheers to you. We've got both. We've got both. Why is my child screaming? Unknown, but we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. Happy 200K. You've kept me company through the first 4 months of pregnancy. Your voice is soothing when nauseous. Leslie, thank you. Nothing soothed me when nauseous. Like literally facts. What was my pregnancy like with the nausea? You're going to have to.
Yeah, I'm like out of focus.
You're going to have to scoot up because I didn't have time to switch lenses. I mean, you can be a little blurry if you want to.
Yeah, Be that way in a little while soon.
I mean, I can scoot over here and then you've got to grab your microphone though. He forgot he had a mic, y'all. The man doesn't text me back. He forgot he had a mic. It's just all the things. Do you need help? It's just stop it. Stop it. You've got to pull it. Oh my God, you've got to tug it. You got to put a little power behind it.
Do you think we would have rehearsed this before we
No, we're professionals here. We're professionals. We don't need You know we're live, like actually right now, right? You've got to scoot up a little bit.
Where's the light on? It says we're live.
The red square. Do you see the red square up there?
Squirrel.
Y'all asked. You said, where's Dr. B? And I said, all right, we will get Dr. B. And here he is. Y'all get what you asked for. What are you drinking tonight? Siri just wants to have a moment.
The salty watermelon whiskey.
You don't look at me.
Oh,
you look at them.
I'm so used to just looking at you. You captivate me.
Oh, you're blurry still. Can you scoot up? There we go. Look at you all in focus and shit. Good job, babe.
Yes.
Can you guys hear Dr. B okay? Let me know. Hopefully you can. We were just going through super chats.
Splendid.
Yeah, we kept, me, not you, but me, kept Leslie company through the first 4 months of pregnancy. I was so nauseous. I threw up in trash cans all over the South Bay, at concerts, in court. Yeah, I puked in court.
What concert did you go to when you were pregnant?
Oh, I don't think you came to Dave with me when pregnant. Did you come to Dave with me when pregnant?
Try not to go to Dave.
Do you remember the Chipotle that I threw up outside of?
Was it outside or literally?
Both. But I think we had oh, you guys can't hear him well. Oh, I don't think I turned your mic on. Hold on.
We are professionals here.
Why don't I see your mic? Oh, hold on. You didn't turn your mic on. Sorry, y'all. Thank you. Y'all are like, can't hear. Try it now.
Check. Sound check. Wes, are we good? Wes on the mixing board.
Hopefully that sounds better. I'm glad I asked. Thank you, chat. Hopefully.
Wait, did I just clear the chat? The chat totally did. Oh, there it is.
I have multiple chats.
I thought we just eliminate all 6 of your listeners.
6? There are 3,000 people in here. 6. All right. Thank you, Mike. The chat is like, that's good. Perfect.
All right.
We're all.
Yes, you did have awful pregnant. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you saying something? Or keep going.
We're all here together. No, you go ahead. I don't remember a lot of my pregnancy. I was busy barfing.
Yeah, you were pretty much sick both pregnancies.
The whole time.
Or in bed.
It was awful. I was high risk with G, so I was definitely, I was in a murder trial, and then after the murder trial, I was on bed rest. Yeah. So
I think it was Travis and I for a good 6.
Are you trying to figure out how long a pregnancy is?
No. I'm trying to figure out, like, once you went on bed rest, Travis and I,
you guys did everything.
We didn't see you for.
Well, you popped up and said hello.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a bummer.
Mm.
Hard pregnancies are hard. We're going for glass number 2. Did we hear that? Did we hear the? Yeah. So can you explain to everybody the bean mixing? Also, you need this mic with you. The camera's up there. The bean mixing.
There's so many directions. What am I supposed to do?
He's never followed directions. Don't y'all worry. He literally tonight, B was like, hey, text me when you're ready. So I texted him. You guys saw me when I texted him. And he was like, oh.
It came through. It didn't bing or ting or. So wait.
Because you have your phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. What was the question? Well,
I don't know. Yeah, neither do I was going to ask about your coffee bean mixing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. That's easy. So normally.
Also, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram.
So normally I see, because we get 2 different types of coffee. We get bulletproof coffee. We get the original and the mentalist. And whenever I see you doing it, you're like pouring 2 bags in at the same time into the receptacle. And I'm
I have skills.
Just Very.
I have
It's
skills.
just, how do you get equal
They're
proportions and mixtures
multiplying.
and things?
And I'm
So
blue.
I
Control.
took it upon myself.
Power.
I quoted Grease yesterday, and you looked at me like you had no idea what I was saying.
And now it's
And now
stuck in
you
my
were singing
head.
Grease.
And now
How
it's
is
stuck
that
in my
fair?
head.
How is that fair?
Why is it unfair? Now it's stuck in my head because of you yesterday. Keep going. You have to be able to continue a conversation while my ADD plays out
Yes.
over here by
Yes.
itself.
Athletic supporter. So I thought it'd be a great thing to do now is to just take the coffee, pour it into a big bowl, just mix it up, just make sure it's uniform and in there and all good, and then pour it into the coffee maker, and then put the extra back in the freezer, and there we go. Wait, do you actually score? Once the coffee's open, does it go in the freezer? That's what we've always done.
It's not what we've always done.
Well, because we normally have extra coffee or laying around.
Well, I had it in the vacuum sealed container, but then coffee is getting a commodity that's not always plentiful. So we started buying more and then storing it in the freezer to extend its life. So that is what we did. We're going to do a few more super chats and then we're going to get to questions in the chat. So don't you worry. You don't have to do a thing. Please don't just stare at the chat. You're just reading. Hello from the kids and I in Canberra, Australia. Hello. We're not going to sing the Canberra song. We're going to refrain our. Why are you looking at me like that?
There's a Canberra song? Do you know a Canberra song? You know, at this point, you have to sing it.
How do you not know what I'm talking about? Didn't you ever go to elementary school? Chat, do you know what I'm talking about? We'll come back to this. I want to see if the chat knows what I'm talking about with the Canberra song. I know exactly what I'm talking about.
I have no idea.
I want to know if you know what we're talking about. I'm going to see what the chat says and then we'll say.
I need to hear it and then I'll let
Kathy
you know.
said, cheers and congrats for 200K. You rock so hard. We rock so hard.
Cheers.
I love this community too. I'm glad you didn't bring the bottle. If you guys missed the last time,
bottles
Dr. B and I did a whiskey stream.
over there.
What do you mean over there? In the kitchen, hopefully.
It's in the kitchen.
Perfect.
No, but it's
yeah, girl Cassie 95 said, saw you on Mercator Law during the Rittenhouse trial and instantly fell in love and had to sub. Thank you so much and welcome.
Do you know it's like on you know what this is? This is like the movie Big Wednesday. So every time you'd see the bear insignia, you're supposed to take a drink. So every time someone super chats you and says cheers, it's
what are you
cheers.
talking about? Oh, you guys are right. It's not Canberra, it's Kookaburra. Damn it. In my brain, it was the same. It's do you now know what we're talking about? It's the Kookaburra song, not the Canberra song. My brain has melded the two with the Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree.
This is every day.
Mary,
of my
Mary.
life.
What?
Yeah. Kookaburra with you.
It's close enough between Kookaburra and Canberra. The sounds are close. My brain has conflated them together. There's a copyright case. Oh, there's a copyright case. Somebody make a note. We are looking at the copyright case of the Kookaburra song. I want to know.
Every one of your Australian listeners are like, oh my God.
I'm sorry. When words sound the same, sometimes it's hard for me. Canberra is pronounced Canberra. Sorry. I want to go to Australia. I have not been. I do better when I hear things, but that one I fixed. Appreciate it. Hello, Kel, Nova Scotia.
Will we fix that one in the editing?
We're going to fix it in post. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. When I take a drink, you're supposed to keep talking.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me I had to take a drink.
No, you're supposed to keep.
Why don't you tell me these things ahead of time? Can't we put them up in the show notes?
See, y'all, streaming is not easy. As Dr. B is learning. I don't know what he thinks I do all day, but it's not easy. Phoenix Night Rose said, hey, Emily, love your channel. Found you because of Aphrodite. I'm so glad. I enjoy Aphrodite so much. This is my first live from St. John's, Newfoundland.
What time is it?
I have no idea what time zone Newfoundland is in. I don't know, but you're welcome. Sorry for mispronouncing Canberra. I think we've got it now. I watch a number. I don't tell Zoe 2 dots. I can't say things. I will be horribly, horribly embarrassed. There are so many Australian YouTubers that I enjoy, but I apologize. Can we get a round of applause in the chat for Taz's 6 year of sobriety? Yes.
Well done.
And I'm sure the chat already applauded when that was posted. Another round of applause for Sarah Brandt's sobriety. Yay,
Well done.
Sarah. We're always here to celebrate you guys. A chat from Jay Thompson to help pay for Fred's alcohol abuse. Thank you so much. I feel abused. It was. I don't know the answer to this. Mickey Holmes said, know about the Lacey Act, worried about reptiles. I have no idea what the Lacey Act is. My husband is very involved in a Tennessee snakes Facebook group. I mean, that's all I know about reptiles. So I apologize. I don't know.
We'll need to look into that one.
Sure.
Wes, put that on the board.
Wes.
Yes.
Do you guys watch Nailed It? That's the reference. Katie says, where's Smollett? They left it off the resume. They did leave Smollett off the resume. So we were talking about Saltzy earlier because he had a fee motion. Saltzy is actually a Smollett. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how Saltzy has times to do all the things that we talked about and still have hobbies. What hobbies did I have when I worked at the DA's office? Sleeping. I think sleeping was the only hobby I had when I worked at the DA's office. Oh, and going to Target at 9 p.m. to grocery shop.
And Dave.
That's like 3 times a year.
Well, I mean,
that's 3 days a year.
It's still a hobby. I mean,
3 days a year. Canical Heart said, catnip tip for Fred's trauma and my paw nerd house rabbit. He loves to disapprove of miscreants. I mean, Fred seems to be doing okay. He's completely asleep.
Yeah.
I don't think the KK lawsuit has a lawyer that just wanted to cash a check. I think the KK told his lawyer to rep him no matter what. I'm assuming we're talking about Ryan Kavanaugh, and I think Kavanaugh's like, just the checks will keep clearing. So, yes. Thank you, Martha, for the super sticker. Thank you, Mary, for the super sticker. We're doing thank yous. Keeping Up with KP said, if you woke up tomorrow and could have any job you wanted, what would you do? I would not work. If I could have any job I wanted, just not work. Just none.
really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's time for the lazy sessions. I don't know. Any job. If I could have, assuming I had to work, what would I do that isn't this? I love this. I mean, podcast host is fantastic. Like, I've gotten old. There are other things that I don't think I would want to do that I would have wanted to do when I was younger. I love podcasting and talking about this stuff.
You need to be able to do something like this so you can talk.
What, you're sick of me talking?
Never would say that. I mean, that was harsh.
Did you enjoy being forced to watch parts of Inventing Anna?
It was entertaining.
The camera's up there.
The accent was a little
much for you,
hard to
darling?
listen to, but
why?
But the accent actually played well because you could tell when she fell out of character, the accent would go away, and then you really saw glimpses of her, and then when the accent came back, she had already shut off. So it was good.
So any job, I don't know. Here's what I would do. If I had to still have a job and I had to have a job, I like the lawyerly realm. I think I'd want to be the Department of Justice's special investigator of Real Housewives of not Orange County, of all. I think I'd want to be the special prosecutor assigned to the Real Housewives unit. I would do that because then I would be able to subpoena unaired footage and look at schemes and frauds. That would be fun. I would do investigative stuff. I think I would do investigative stuff. I think that's what I would do. What would you do? Retirement.
Could I just say I'd be a dentist?
I mean, I know. That makes me sad.
It does.
Dr. B retired due to injury. So I know you've wanted to be a dentist since you were in elementary school.
Yes.
Which is a very normal thing for an elementary school student to be like, I want to be a dentist. There are some out there.
Not really. I mean,
there are some.
There
are a few.
It's not at the high list of, firemen, policemen, sort of things. Astronaut.
Do people still want to be astronauts? Seems like a lot of work. It seems like a lot of work. I think, like, I don't know. Dawn said, Emily, congratulations on 200K. I just watched Bad Vegan on Netflix. It's very Elizabeth Holmes-ish. You're literally my favorite. Thank you. I sent you a message on Patreon. Dawn, I have not checked Patreon messages in too long, but I will be in there checking them on Monday. It is actually on my calendar. Jen K said, congratulations. Your content is fantastic. Thank you. The fam and I are going to Walt Disney World and having salted caramel whiskey. So thanks for the recommendation. You are welcome.
Yes.
Enjoy the world. And I love a salted caramel whiskey. We had to go with peanut butter tonight. It was kind of the vibe. Congratulations on 200K. We love and appreciate you very much. Thank you. Let's see. No Dosor. I hope I pronounced that right. Do you take legal business inquiries from viewers specifically analyzing legal documents at your pay rate? Of course, Purple Hair Sisters. I do some consulting. I mostly place people with the right attorney for them, but my email is always listed. So if you have an inquiry, you can email me. Sometimes it's a right fit, sometimes it's not, but I do some consulting. So thank you for asking. I don't mean to be kicking your feet. I'm sorry.
I was just trying to figure out it was.
Sorry. I was...
Just like tore the flesh off my legs.
I forgot my nails are a little more square than usual.
Yes.
Brandis Bedazzled, hello. I made it. LOL. I kept my Facebook Live short so I could rush over. Thank you so much. That's very sweet. Good to see you. I hope you didn't have to cut it too short. Congratulations. Thank you, Dawn. It's good to see you. The chat covers Dr. B's face. We've fixed it now, so we are good.
Oh, well, I mean, then I'm not bringing the program down.
You're not bringing the program down except for the fact that you refuse to look at the camera. Congratulations on 200K. Kellen is trying to get his own channel too in 8-9 years when they're 18, and I finally allow it. G and K can collab. They absolutely can collab. That's what the next wave is going to be, setting up our kids with collaborations.
But no, actually, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, Robin, to cut you off there. But Griffin, in a sense, would be good for a live stream, because that kid can talk nonstop. Have you ever noticed? When we went to his dental appointment the other day, and it's an hour drive. Sorry, look at the camera. He talked the entire way and the entire way back home.
Yeah, I sit next to him on the plane flights.
Yes, that's true. You do.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He likes to talk about stuff.
Yeah. He does.
Yep.
He's got lots to say.
He does have lots to say. So the question we were pulling up before was about Heather McDonald doing an impression of Anna. I'm sure it's perfect. Heather McDonald's impressions are so spot on. She's an actual literal comedian. So it is fantastic. But yes, G can chat. Ever noticed? Yes, I've noticed a lot. We've
Wait,
noticed.
Is that why you wear the sound headphones on the airplane? So you don't have to listen?
No.
And the noise canceling headphones?
I normally put them on pass through so he can still talk. But
Splendid.
I don't like plane noise. It zaps my energy and it annoys me. So once G gets his noise canceling on, he's cool, but he absolutely is chatty. He is chatty. Lisa BS said catnip tip for Fred to soothe him after his traumatic paper bag encounter. I mean, it's fully a paper bag incident.
But Lisa, you bring up a point that I don't think we've mentioned here, is that this is not the first time this has happened. This is at least the 5th or 6th.
Fred hasn't learned yet.
He will, and it's funny, like when the big brown grocery bags, seeing him running through the house with that thing still stuck on his neck, he freaks out.
We try to be careful with him. I didn't think he would get the full one that had stuff in it. Normally he just jumps into them after we've been shopping or something.
No. It's happened in the brown bags, plastic bags, all sorts of stuff.
How is he getting at the plastic bags?
There's a handle, so he gets his head through, and then it gets stuck, and then he's running around.
Why are we putting the plastic bags on the floor when you're unloading the groceries then?
Because the bags, when you unload the food and it goes onto the counter, the bag goes on the floor for the kids to pick up and to put away.
Maybe we could do that better. As he's like, the cat's like this. No Freds have been harmed in the grocery putting away. Jeez. Crystal Laura said, congratulations on 200K. Thank you so much. I still can't believe it. I'm thrilled. I have loved the stars too fondly. Happy new moon. Congratulations on 200K. Here's to 1 million more. I mean, cheers to that. We'll take it. We will absolutely,
Cheers.
we will take it. Cheers. Oh, your ice looks so pretty and light. Robin Redbreast said, congratulations on 20K, 200K. I'm going with it. I would love your thoughts on the legal doctrine of parens parente. If you have any, it's something I've been researching lately. Not off the top of my brain, but if you want to DM me or message me, if I will give you thoughts when I have not been drinking, for sure. It is not something I have researched lately at all. Allie said, never store coffee in the freezer or fridge. It will act like baking soda. Gross stuff. Store in an airtight container, which is what I do, and place in a dark place, which is what I do.
All right.
It'll absorb all of the other scents. That would be gross.
Yeah.
I stored it in the airtight container. Someone wanted to store it in the freezer. Cheers. Congratulations on 200K. Found you when I Googled what happened to Britney Spears. Your channel came up. I watched my first video and never left. Well, Ginger, I'm so glad Google didn't do me dirty and that you're here. Yay. We're happy for it. We're happy for it. Carrie said, I passed my driving test. Cheers.
Yes. Well done.
Brian.
What?
Did you pass your driving test on the first time?
Yes, I did.
How'd that go for you? I'm asking you. I was in the middle of a question.
So very easy. So I lived in a fairly rural, small area. Turns out the day that the day that I went there, you know, have that high school nemesis or that person you just don't quite get along with. Well, my nemesis was there, and
were your birthdays around the same time?
I have no idea. He took his, and again,
you don't know you. How many people were in your graduating class from high school?
I think 112.
Okay. Keep going.
So fairly small. That individual took their exam before I did. They did not pass. So I'm like, oh, please God, I've got to pass. I've got to pass.
Just a note, if you bang the table, it will also shake the camera.
Oh, all right. Well, so you need a 70 to pass. So you break my train of thought there. You need a
you remember the score you needed to pass your driver's test from 1980, whatever?
You needed a 70 to pass. This is in California.
How do you remember this? A 70 on the written or the driving?
The driving portion. I'd already passed because back then we had driver's ed in class. So you didn't have to go somewhere and have driver's ed.
You had to take the written though. You had to take the written and the driving.
So you took the written and then you could take the driving like right afterwards.
The same day.
But yeah, I remember. Right. So I remember the driving portion, you needed to have a 70 to pass. Guess what I had?
70.
70. I got a 70. I was like, woo, yeah. Newfound freedom. Yes. So I definitely remember. And I can't remember why I got marked down.
Did you fail to turn your blinker on?
It may have been one of those, like, you know, when you pull out from the curb and not to turn your turn indicator on. Yeah, I think that may have been what it was. Maybe a box or two or something.
Congratulations on passing your driving test. I failed my driver's test 4 times.
Did you take it in the yellow Volvo? Well, no wonder. It's like a land barge. I mean, that car was so big. You needed to do it in like a VW bug or something
failed my
small.
driver's test 4 times.
And that car was an automatic too, wasn't it?
Yes.
No, geez.
The Volvo, my Volvo DL like 440 whatever, was such a giant piece of steel. And the DMV where I took my driver's test, the Hawthorne DMV, had the straight in parking. So you had to do parallel parking and straight in parking, not like a regular parking spot where you like have the slanted spots and you can pull in the angled spots. There was the wall of the DMV and then a straight in parking spot. So I didn't have enough room to pull straight in. If you hit one of the cones on the straight in parking, you automatically fail.
4 times.
4 times.
Wow. Okay.
4 times I failed my driver's test. I am an excellent driver. I am an excellent driver. I'm an excellent driver. But I failed my part. I failed the straight in parking because the freaking wall was too close to where you had to park. Who needs to pull straight in anyway? Every parking lot should have angled parking spots so you can just, and cars automatically park now anyway. So like, whatever. Yeah, it was a long time ago. You taught me how to drive stick. I didn't do terribly.
Right. In the
rodeo.
Was it the rodeo?
It was the rodeo because
I thought it was a dental dorkmobile.
No, it wasn't the dental dorkmobile. It was the rodeo because we had the rodeo when we got married and we're moving to Seattle. And you were making me car sick on the drive up to Seattle. So I learned to drive sick so I could drive.
No, there was a night we were at the parking lot at one of the aerospace companies over by aviation, and you were driving the dental dorkmobile.
Was it the dorkmobile?
And we got pulled over by security.
You're like, I'm trying to teach her how to drive stick.
And got booted out of the parking lot.
Which is the parking lot where I learned how to drive. Not that many years before you were trying to teach me to drive stick. Anyway,
yeah.
Congratulations on 200K. Thank you for all the entertainment and education on law. You're welcome. If you and Dr. B could hear only one song for the rest of your life, which song would it be? I like big butts and I cannot lie. You others can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waisted around thing in your face, you get sprung. When a pull-up stuck. When you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh, baby, I want to get with you. Won't cuss or hit you. Go ahead.
I'm trying to remember the name of the album.
I'm joking. It would not be Baby Got Back.
Probably The Offspring.
One song, it's so hard. One album would be easier to narrow down. One song is tough.
Yeah, I can't think of the Offspring song right now. I mean, there's some Pennywise I could think of too.
One song. You're supposed to pick one song. You've got to lean forward so you're in focus.
I'm on the mic.
There you go.
I'm on the mic.
No, you don't have to lean your whole body forward. Just
okay.
Just the top part. I think Satellite might be it. Satellite.
Oh, that makes me feel so good. That was our wedding song.
No, it wasn't.
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Wait, you're not joking? You're legit not joking. You're not joking? You're not joking. You're not joking.
What was our wedding song then? It was a Dave Matthews song.
It was a Dave Matthews song. Where are you going?
Oh, right. Okay. Yes, that's true. Not Satellite. To
be fair, you we've been married for how long now?
22 years.
Oh my God. What year did we get married in?
2002.
So how many years have we been married? I'm gonna let him do math in his head.
20.
Thank you for the super sticker. Bling is the new black. It's so good to see you in the chat.
This year.
Yeah, it'll be 20 this year. Do your boys show possible interest in law or dentistry for their future? No.
No, not dentistry. They no, not yet. Certainly not yet. Law, I would somewhat say Travis, but he's such a rule follower, so it would be someone more enforcing the
thing is,
rules.
He's a rule follower that doesn't want to be told what to do, though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, a little early for G.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think both of them probably want to be game developers. Is the TriStar Medical Center in Nashville affiliated with Lou Taylor? It's not, Susie. A lot of things in Tennessee are named TriStar. Why? Because the Tennessee state flag has 3 stars on it. The 3 stars in the middle of the state flag of the great state of Tennessee represent the 3 distinct regions of Tennessee: Middle Tennessee, East Tennessee, and West Tennessee,
which are all geographically different.
They are very diverse because the state goes across like this. It doesn't. So if you want to see here, I'll just pull up the state flag of Tennessee to make it easy so that we can all just be like,
do we know who Lou Taylor is?
What?
What? Who's Lou Taylor?
Holy shit. We're going to, sorry, mods.
Who is Lou
Take
Taylor?
a bathroom break right now. We're going to be here for a hot minute. So this is the state flag of Tennessee. Hence, a lot of things in the state of Tennessee are called TriStar. The company that I pulled up, I was just trying to look for a good flag. So if you need to buy a Tennessee flag, there's companies that do that. Chat, do we need to describe who Lou Taylor is to Dr. B? Do we just do that? Did
I miss the discussion about Lou Taylor earlier? Or?
Do we just do that now? Do we just do that now? Dr. B is being disowned. Dragon Ball, the state. It is Dragon Ball. Dr. B, we're so disappointed. Fair enough. They do not know how you do not know who Lou Taylor is.
Give me
The only thing I
something.
know about Tennessee is Elvis. That's fair. Elvis,
Yeah.
lots of music in Tennessee, but Elvis is Memphis, Tennessee. So West Tennessee.
You
And then
could-
you've got the Smokies.
Well, you could say Jerry Lee Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah. Was the wedding song Crash or You and Me? No, You and Me Together came out after we were married. Our wedding song was, in fact, which we named was
Satellite.
fucking oh, where are you going? Lou Taylor is the embroiled and she Voldemort former business manager of Britney Spears. Does that help?
Absolutely.
Does she Voldemort do it for you?
Yeah.
We get there.
All you had to say.
She runs a talent agency that is associated with the Kardashians. The chat has said she is Cruella. The chat has said code red. Dr. B,
What?
You're getting a code red. I think the chat has asked for a code red on you.
Am I getting like red carded?
Yeah, I
Like,
think
am
you
I-
just got red
Am I
carded.
out? Am I being booted?
So y'all know how this goes.
Am I in the penalty box?
Yes, it's gonna flash. I have approved the motion for code red. So we are going to DEFCON red on the fact that Dr. B clearly listens to me enough to know who Lou Taylor is. I'm sorry. Wait, what? So this will stop flashing when the music is done for any of you that are flash sensitive. We are now red. You got DEFCON red.
I did.
You did.
Something changed?
The lights went to red. The lights went to red. The lights went to red. Well, the chat is giving you the kind of what's the what. Lou Taylor is the individual behind the conservatorship of Britney Spears. Lou Taylor also asked.
I
there's
thought
so
her
much.
dad was the one behind the conservatorship. You're not covering this very well. You know that? How do people not know that Lou Taylor was something the conservatorship?
No. People know.
Yeah,
All the people know.
Look,
You don't know.
I've been reading the chat as it going up, and everyone else is like, "Who's this Lou Taylor?" I thought
No.
I thought her dad.
Sarcasm.
one.
That was sarcasm.
No.
That was who's Lou Taylor? JFC forehead slap. How do you not know what we're talking about?
Who's JFC now?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Why do you have to introduce a new player? How am I supposed to keep up with this? We were talking about Lou Taylor. Now you're talking about JFC. How do the people follow what's going on?
Lou Taylor, all right. Former business
Got it.
manager.
Got it.
Shady. Question mark. There's okay. We're gonna have to explain who Lou M. Taylor is to Dr. B another day. I don't know if I have the capacity for this level of explanation today. I just don't know. Congratulations on 200K. What would Dr. B do for work if he could do anything? What does Dr. B think of Direct Smile? Love to watch you both. Dr. B, please don't get us sued by Direct Smile with this answer, and go.
Beep, 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 beep. What would I do if I could do anything? Still, I'd want to be a dentist. Still, I'd want to be that. What do I think of Direct Smile?
I would do anything.
Well, I'd be Hermie the elf.
If you could do
Yes,
anything.
Hermie the
I
elf.
would do anything.
I just want to be a dentist. What do I think of Direct Smile? I don't know.
Smile Direct.
Or Smile Direct. Oh, there we go. I don't know their product model well enough to even answer on.
There's probably an
Yeah,
orthodontist
I
in your
don't-
area that doesn't visit.
Yeah.
We're going to leave it there.
Yep.
Yep.
Don't know enough.
Thank you for the super sticker, Phoenix. Appreciate it. Lisa BS said, also, don't worry about not being able to pronounce Aussie place names. We have difficulty with them too. Thank you, Lisa. Much appreciated. Sassy footnote. Love your name. Congratulations on 200K. Happy to be a part of this awesome group. Love seeing you two together, Gavel and Moeller.
Oh,
Yay. He couldn't see that.
that's me.
Took my driver's test in in an 80s GMC van, Norco, California. It was not an easy feat. Late 90s. Yeah. I was taking my driver's test mid 90s. It was not easy in my giant Volvo, but it taught me tenacity. We never give up. And the only car I hit in the yellow Volvo was my dad's blue Volvo. Trying to parallel park it. JC said, fun fact, Baby Got Back was already on the recommended for the laundered playlist when I went at it. JC's been keeping up with our laundered playlist over on Spotify if you guys want to check in on that when I spontaneously bust into song.
Coming back to Baby's Got Back, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Okay, here's the thing.
I thought it was Baby Got Back.
It's too long. I run out of air by like verse 3. I can't. I like Pour Some Sugar on Me because you don't really have to sing.
Ooh, strong.
Though I will say the
You
last...
just got to get the moves like...
It depends on how much you've been drinking.
All right.
I will say that I'm definitely going to have a karaoke party for my 45th birthday. Cannot wait. And the last time I was at karaoke, the song that smashed the most, because we were in Nashville and there were a bunch of kids from Vanderbilt there, was Take Me Home Country Road, which is a very fun song to sing. And I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Okay.
I
almost thought Sweet Home Alabama.
Sweet Home Alabama is also fun to sing. But Baby Got Back is a difficult song because of its length. That's what she said. It's a lot to handle. It's a little girthy. I run out of air. Like it's too much in my mouth. I have no idea who Lou Taylor is either, Dr. B. Do you feel vindicated?
Yes.
Dolly Parton is Tennessee to me. Dolly Parton is an icon and a queen, and we stand. So it's absolutely fair enough. Laura said, I want to say thank you. I watched the replays last year when I went through something really hard and traumatic. Your videos provided distraction. You're welcome and comfort while I was really struggling and still do to this day. Congratulations on 200K. Laura, thank you so much for your kind words. And I hope not just my videos, but the community here brings you a safe space to just be able to get away for a little bit because it matters. And sometimes just being able to get out of your brain helps. So thank you so much for that. That's very kind. Let's see. Darlene said, I went at the last minute and the instructor was ready to go home. So we went around the block and then he asked me questions and I passed. That's a brilliant strategy. However, in Southern California, you have to have an appointment and the lines are very, very long. So if you showed up at the end of the day, you're probably not going to get to do your driver's test.
And if you showed up without an appointment, you could wait the entire day and not even take your exam.
Versus Tennessee, where we went to go get our driver's license and they're like, stand over there, click here. And you're like, we're done. But then my friend, so Bree moved to Idaho, Bree Battles. She had to take a new test. They make the Californians. Well, I imagine they make everybody, not just the Californians, but I imagine this was implemented because of the Californians. They make the Californians take a new driver's test. There's not enough whiskey in the world to explain who and what Lou Taylor is.
Speaking of whiskey.
Nope. You're sure not. You're sure not doing that. I love you. Oh, she's Umbridge. Lou M. Taylor is Umbridge. That is a fantastic analysis. She Voldemort. Umbridge is kind of she Voldemort. So it works. I'm going to get to a few questions that I got asked a lot on the Patreons and the members. But do you want to do court of public opinion before we do that? Do you want to do our court of public opinion with me?
Absolutely. I'm down for it.
You're down for court of public opinion? You've never been here for a court of public opinion ruling. Are you sure?
Yep. Let's do it.
Can you handle this? So I'm going to have to retell him. We're going to do court of public opinion. And when we do court of public opinion, we will then get into the rest of the questions from y'all. The chat has been popping tonight. So I hear you. Okay. Leah said I had to parallel park on my driver's test. I did too. I had to parallel park and do the straight in bullshit.
Did you have to do the 3-point turn?
Yes. In my big ass car.
Yeah, there was no place in where I lived that you'd have to parallel park. So there was no parallel parking.
Really? They're just like, you'll never need this?
Yeah. No, but we definitely had to do 3-point turns.
Did you have to drive on a dirt road and make sure you didn't like spin out?
But I think they had a donkey in the road that we had to avoid that was strategically placed.
At least it wasn't a meth dealer.
Close.
At least you didn't say mule. I would have assumed it was a drug mule and not an actual mule. But anyway, we're going to do COPO and then we're going to get back to some questions for our Ask Me Anything. So let's get into it. Okay, so this week's court of public opinion, for those of you that were with me last Friday, I totally forgot to put it up to rule on it on Tuesday. Things happened. So our court of public opinion question came from the voir dire questions that Jussie Smollett's attorneys weren't allowed to ask. That's where this question came from. This was not my question per se. We were just voting on this voir dire question because who would have asked it? A lot of you were like, I need other options. I know, I need other options too. But the question was regarding the character Batman versus Superman. How do you vote, Dr. B? Did I talk too fast? You're still like you're actually visually buffering.
Is this a like which one do I favor or which one is better? I mean, you gave no clarification or
yes, I did.
Like just which one do I like better? I mean, which one had better movies?
The voir dire question was Batman versus Superman. Batman or Superman?
Like
characters.
Who would win in a fight? Oh,
no.
Are we talking character
yes.
traits?
No.
Well, I mean, clearly,
we're not talking universe. We're talking character.
No,
which character? Batman versus Superman.
Wait, are we talking character as in the character traits of the person or the character of Batman or Superman? Because clearly Superman's got far better character than Batman does. Batman's all dark and shady as hell.
We're not talking about morals and values. We're talking about the character, the character, not the universe of Superman or the universe of Batman. We're not comparing Smallville to the Dark Knight. We're talking about Batman or Superman.
I'm gonna go with Batman.
Why?
Because he is a bit dark.
Do I put you on the spot? You just said Superman has the better character.
I didn't realize I had to answer.
These are my monkeys said you're overthinking it. Welcome to my world. These are my monkeys. I over-explain. He overthinks.
No, I like Batman because he's a bit darker. Some of the villains I like.
Darkness. No parents.
In a way, Batman is kind of fucked up, and Superman.
His parents were murdered in front of him.
Well, I mean, Superman's parents got killed.
His entire planet got.
I mean, he's a dude who should just be all fucked up in the head, but. He's just there's no darkness to him.
Is that because he's not rich?
No, it has nothing to do with that. I mean, Superman could be as rich as he wanted to be. He could walk into anything and take anything he wants, or
he could laser eye a vault and just
sell
NFTs. Get involved in some influencer crypto scam,
something with Bitcoin. I'm sure he would be great at. If you had to like press a button for Bitcoin, he could do it at supersonic speed.
I don't think that's how that works.
It isn't? I thought when you got Bitcoin, you just like press
you just double click it?
Double click.
So you're voting Batman.
I vote Batman.
All right. We're going to go to the poll and see what the court of public opinion has said Batman versus Superman. Also, I don't know how you get anything from this question on voir dire. Like, what are you supposed to be looking for in a juror if they pick one versus the other? Like, what are they thinking it says about someone if they pick Batman versus Superman? That's what I don't understand. What are they trying? Is it somebody who's attracted to the dark versus someone who's attracted to the light? Then why wouldn't you just ask like Luke versus Vader? Like if you want dark side, light side, or like Voldemort versus Harry Potter. Well, why Batman versus Superman?
Maybe because Batman is considered a vigilante. In his vigilante sense.
Isn't Superman a vigilante?
Yeah, but he's never called a vigilante.
He's just called a superhero?
Yeah. Where Batman's not considered a superhero.
I just want to know. I just want to know why. Tell me why. I just want to know why this was a voir dire question and what they were hoping, to get from it. That's what I wanted to know. All right, let's go.
Does everybody know what voir dire is?
Do you not know what voir dire is? They watch my content.
They do.
So there's
Well,
the
good
big
on you.
difference. There's
that-
the big difference.
Isn't that the questions that they ask of the potential jurors
Uh-huh.
before they come in? Yes, I know that.
You've sat through voir dire.
Yes.
How far did you get when you sat through voir dire when you went to jury service? The last time you went to serve jury duty.
I didn't even get into the chair before they kicked me out.
That's not true. You were in the
Yeah.
chair when they asked if you were married to me. No, that's not
no,
true.
that's when you're just up in the jury box.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know if we were sitting down. So yeah, so they went through the like 12 questions that they had. Like, do you know anybody in law enforcement? Has anybody in your family ever had a DUI? I mean, there were a number of questions. Have you ever had a DUI? And I went through all of those. I made it to the second round, but even before, when my number got called and I was walking up to the jury box, the defense attorney's already like, "You out." And I'm like, Your Honor, let me sit down. I've never done jury duty. I want to at least sit in the chair. Let me sit there for a moment. And then the prosecutor's like, "Yeah, Your Honor, he's dismissing juror 55 too soon. He needs to have an opportunity to be in the jury box before that happens." So like I sat down, I was like, "Oh, these are like looking at the other jurors." And like,
You were jackassing.
Because I knew I was going to get kicked out immediately.
You were married to me at the
Yes.
courthouse where I worked. Of course
Yeah.
you were.
Yeah, so I was going.
Let's take a look at the court of public opinion from the law nerds. All right. On the Twitters, we have 72% Batman, 27.9% for Superman with 578 votes. Let us go to the YouTubes to see how this question went over there with substantially more votes because YouTube, what?
No, I mean it's almost the same.
It's always almost the
Yeah.
same. So with 3,500-ish votes over on the YouTubes, Batman at 74%, Superman at 26%. They really are always pretty close between the two different platforms,
Yeah.
which is so interesting. The small what?
No, I was going to say this would be an interesting question: is who's had more movies, Batman or Superman?
That wasn't the question.
No, I'm taking this now a step further. Is who's had more movies made, and then from those movies, which franchise has actually made more
money?
Yes.
I think our next what we needed to get into, and I think we will resume next week with, is who is the better Spider-Man, because Travis has been debating this in homeroom over who's the better Spider-Man.
You realize you didn't even finish this conversation. You just jumped into another frying pan.
I finished this conversation. What are you talking? We're done. What else is there to say?
Okay, all right.
We're not running a March Madness poll on
Spider-Man.
Batman franchise versus Superman franchises, because where does the franchise end? Do you include the comic books? Do you include like the super friend
box office? I said box office. Like which one has had the bigger box office revenues?
Superman versus Batman?
Yes.
Okay. Who swings a bigger bag is what you're asking? Rissa asked, so will Dr. B ever have to do jury duty? I think now that we've moved, that he absolutely could sit jury duty, because I don't have any connection to the courthouses here.
But
I didn't work in the courthouses here.
But if one of the questions is, have you ever had someone, are you related to someone who's in law enforcement?
But they don't always kick you off for that.
I mean, that would be the thing that got rid of me.
Wait until you get to civil. They don't care. He could end up doing jury duty, I think. I'm guessing Superman equals God complex and Batman equals vigilante, aka okay with street justice. Mariko, I like that. Maybe that's what they were looking for. Who's okay with street justice, and maybe thinking that they would be more empathetic to Jussie Smollett. I don't know, but I think it's fair. Just Hearts NY City said, I mean, it's not fair. Batman is human with cool gadgets, but Superman is not from the planet Earth and has superpowers. It's too much for me. I mean, they are not directly comparable yet. Here we are. What?
No. Do you remember
his face is terrifying.
Well, that was do you remember the Kevin Smith discussion about Batman and who could have Batman's baby?
That was Superman.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The discussion that
I remember was that better than you do, because you were.
Was that in? Well, I was nervous saying that because I don't know where that was in Mallrats, wasn't it?
It was in Mallrats.
Yes,
and it wasn't Silent Bob having the conversation.
Well, of course, because he's Silent Bob. It was Jason Lee's character.
Having the conversation.
With Stan Lee.
Mhm.
Yes. Love that movie.
I miss Stanley being in the movies.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Jesse said actor-wise, for best Spider-Man, Tom Holland, easy, no debate. He's the sexiest. He's got the best personality. His performance is always amazing. I mean, the thing is, we will have to settle this in court of public opinion for Travis because his homeroom has been going back and forth because a lot of them like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. It's very interesting to see who the junior high school kids junior high school kids love. So Pam Marshall's like, the answer is always Iron Man. Look, if we're going with rich dudes with cool toys, we have to do Batman versus Iron Man. For sure.
But then Iron Man sucks.
Which is a reference to Lego Batman. Bo said, why do I never get the polls? I was on my phone all week and it never showed up. So I forgot about it. And I know they don't always show up on my tablet. They should be in the community tab on YouTube. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I didn't mean to diss Dr. B. If I jumped on, my brain has already moved on. Going back is hard. So Iron Man or Captain America. I mean, if we're going to do it, we would have to do like Iron Man versus Batman and then like Captain America versus Superman, because Superman and Captain America are both like enhanced.
I mean, that's Iron Man versus Batman. I mean, Captain America.
Yes. Yes. Your train of thought left the station without me, and I have no idea what's happening over there.
I was trying to go with Captain American's ass, but the whole thing derailed in my mind, and I couldn't recover. And then I started laughing on my phone. And I didn't know where to go.
Hello, Warren. It's good to see you. All right, we're definitely going to have to do Tom Holland, or not Tom Holland.
What? Yeah, see it happens.
We're gonna have to do the poll of who's the best Spider-Man for court of public opinion. We're gonna save that till next week. I vote Deadpool. Are you still trying to make a joke about Captain America's ass?
No. I was gonna say I don't see how Tobey Maguire could pull off what Tom Holland did in the Avengers.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I just don't think it just would have come across. That whole scene of them fighting at the airport. I just don't see how Tobey Maguire could have pulled that off, but Tom Holland did that. Smashing.
You remember that really old movie?
Yes.
Star Wars. I love that they've brought back a cheekiness to Spider-Man in the MCU. I really do. I love it so much.
The Green Arrow series was fantastic. The first few seasons of that was incredible.
I'm always down for arrows.
Yeah.
Always.
Green Arrow. I will agree with that.
Always down for arrows. You guys are like, Dr. B seems to be feeling his whiskey. What? Accurate.
How is it you're pouring your third glass and I can't go back to the kitchen for another?
You're cut off.
Maybe that should be the court of public opinion. Should I be able to go get another glass?
We're not taking a vote. We've seen your 3 whiskey stream. We know what that's like. Octa, we are not playing Smash or Pass. We are not playing Smash or Pass on teens playing. Well, I guess Tom Holland's not a teen anymore, but no, we're not playing Smash or Pass. We're not. But I love that you guys are continuing the discussion. We want a drunk Dr. B. You've already got one.
I am nowhere near there. Nowhere near.
Lies. The chat is definitely voting on you to go get another drink, but I agree that somebody can't have more drinks because there are children at home. Someone always needs to be in a drivable condition. So until we have a teen that is old enough to drive, someone needs to be in a drivable condition. Responsible adulting is hard. Thanks, B. All right. We had what?
No, I was reading what someone wrote about poison ivy.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you've got to have the conversation with the class. Sister Babylon said poison ivy said it best. There's something about an anatomically correct rubber suit that puts fire into girls' lips.
That's why it caught my attention. I remember the line.
Fantastic. We've got to get to some of the questions we've been asked. We're going to get to some of the super chats. We are not done yet. The mods are like, aren't we done yet? No, we are not. Marianne said, my 40th birthday is coming up and I've picked one song from every year of my life and we're going to sing them all. That's an amazing idea. I love that. I love that. We should do a poll of the Lonards. What's your go-to karaoke song and another? Love karaoke in K-Town always. Police, Perry, Gaga, so many. I mean, karaoke is one of my favorite things.
You mean The Police? It's too hard to hit that high note.
You're doing just fine.
Can't hit that.
Congrats on 200K, even though streaming is better if Dr. B looks to the camera. I love that he just keeps looking at you. Get someone who looks at you like Dr. B looks at Emily. What's Dr. B's favorite whiskey? Oh my God. What's your favorite whiskey?
The Saltzy Watermelon Old Smoky.
As he lovingly sips his last sip of whiskey with his jawbreaker size piece of ice. Susie Q, I had to step out. How did you meet? Why did you move to Tennessee? And then from Nicole, tell us about your courtship. There was no courtship.
Hockey games.
Hockey games. Bop it. Thank you for the super chat. We got asked a lot in both the members only spot on YouTube when I put this question out and over on Patreon about how we met. I don't know if we still agree on this story or how it went, but I'm interested to see your recollection of it. How did we meet?
We met.
You're like, we
met at
very
a
formal
housewarming party for a mutual friend. So this would have been 1997, 98? 98.
97?
No, it'd be 98.
It would have been April 90. Would it have been
98?
April 98?
April 98. Yep. It was.
Okay.
So there was a mutual friend who was at a housewarming party. I worked with him at Safeway. I ran into him at the gym and I hadn't seen him in years. He's like, hey, I'm having a housewarming party. You know, I'd love for you to come by, get a chance to catch up. I had a date that I asked for that night. She backed out sort of last moment. And I'm like,
I thought you guys were supposed to go as friends. Was she like a date? Wait, no, I need clarification.
Right. I had a friend that was supposed to come.
No.
To,
but was this supposed to be like, we've been married 20 years?
Maybe it just sounds better if I said I had a date.
I thought you were just bringing her as a friend.
So I had a friend that we were supposed to come to the party.
But was it a date?
No, it was. Got the semantics here. I had a friend that was supposed to go with me to the party who did not go. And so I'm like, all right, I might as well go. I haven't seen my friend in a long time. I haven't seen John. So I knew absolutely nobody there other than the host, and Emily was there.
I was bartending.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when you go to a party and you don't know anybody, where do you hang out?
With the chick pouring the booze.
Hang out at the bar. And that's where I hung out.
Can I tell them how you introduced yourself?
No.
Is that a hard stop?
Yeah, that's a hard stop.
Really?
Yeah. There are like dorktastic moments that I try to ignore or forget. But clearly it worked. I mean,
because I'm a dork. Okay, here's the thing.
Later.
So John was a friend. We grew up on the same street. He asked me if I would fill in for his bartender. I had just rushed a sorority, so I was well aware of how to pour
strong drinks.
Well, yes, because my sorority didn't really make you drink your face off when you were rushing. We had to serve everyone else, which I actually liked. I do not like being forced to drink at all. That doesn't. So I was bartending, and you were hanging out with me, and you asked me, you know, so what do I call you? And I was like, I'm Emily. I'm the bartender. And I'm like, what do I?
Did I really ask? What do I call you? Not like, what's your name? Like, what do I?
So what do I call you?
What do I call you?
Yep. I also had very low rise pants.
Oh yeah.
So that my improperly placed 90s back tattoo was showing. So every time I reached over to pull drinks, you could see my tattoo. It was strategically
it wasn't
placed.
just the tattoo. It was also the G-string that you had on underneath it that was.
I was going to leave that part right out.
Was creeping out as well.
Look, it was 1998. Maybe you could see my underwear above my pants. I was going to leave all of that out. So every time I went and picked up a drink, you could see my tattoo.
Yes, tattoo only.
And apparently my thong as well. It was a look.
Wait, what's the difference between a thong and a G-string?
It's the same thing.
Is it? Oh, thank God. I was like, maybe I just said the wrong thing.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the chat knows exactly what it is. The chat knows exactly what it is. That's exactly what it was. So he's like, what can I call you? I'm like, I'm the bartender. You can call me Emily. And I'm like, what do I call you? And he straight ass looks at me and goes, you can call me doctor.
At least I didn't say like, oh, you can call me Dr. Feelgood.
You left the rest implied, Dr. Love. You can call me doctor.
I'd only been a doctor a short time, so I was feeling it.
I mean, that was kind of me when I first became a district attorney. I was definitely feeling it. When I first got my badge, I was definitely feeling a little bit of myself. I mean, I was feeling a little bit of myself in 1998 as a water polo player with the abs and the narrowness to be able to wear the low-rise pants with the G-string coming out. We would never do that again intentionally. But it was a thing. So the next day, Dr. B comes.
Well, no, I mean.
We're going to talk about the rest of the evening.
Yeah, okay. We ended up at like.
We're high class.
Yes, we ended up at Denny's.
Well, it was still open at 3 a.m.
Yes, until like 3 a.m. With Hippolito serving us, the greatest server.
Hippolito's the best ever.
At Denny's was always there when we were over there.
I think Hippolito was always there, always.
Yeah. So I think you did get home at around 3 a.m.
No, I think we went to eat at like 2:30 in the morning. So we went out to eat. I hadn't been drinking that much. You hadn't been drinking that much either. No. Because we were chatting and I was serving drinks to my neighbors' old friends. So we went to Denny's and decided to go to the movies the next day.
Yes. Because we found out we both love movies. We both really enjoy seeing movies, going to the movies. Yeah.
And always have.
Turns out the only thing we could go see the next day was Wild Things. Yep.
It was the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, it set the tone for our entire relationship.
That sounds real bad.
Or at least the beginning.
Also sounds real bad. For those of you that don't remember Wild Things was with Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, Denise Richards and Neve Campbell. Who else was in that movie?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Yeah.
Who else was in that movie? Matt Dillon. Not Matt Damon.
Yeah. Matt Dillon.
Anyway.
Right. Thank you.
So the chat, because we've told this story in a members only stream. We were at Denny's when I carded him. Yes, it was Matt Dillon and Kevin Bacon. So we were at Denny's when we found out our birthdays were close in time and then found out that our birth years were not close in time.
So we're separated by 2 days
for our birthdays
and
11 years,
a few years.
So when he came to my parents' house, because I was home with a shoulder injury from UMass, when he came to my parents' house to pick me up, my mother was like, so she tells me you're a dentist. What are you, like 30? And that was the beginning of a very long and loving relationship between my husband and my mother.
And of course, I didn't see it coming. And I'm like, oh, yes, actually, I am the dentist.
I
am 30. I went to UCLA and blah, blah, blah. And did not realize that the woman just was ready to reach over and just strangle me.
Correct. Yeah. I was like a week and a half away from turning 20. So.
Sounds so bad now when you say it.
Sure does. Worked out well.
Yeah.
Worked out well. I like you.
Oh, well, thanks, babe.
We're going to be married this year longer than I was alive without us dating. Uh-huh.
I see someone else said there that they have 11 years in their relationship as well. So
I mean, it
good
works.
on you.
I really think, men aren't ready to really necessarily marry until they're in their 30s anyway. So, worked out.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it worked out. I hope you
Yeah.
think it worked
No,
out.
it did. It definitely does. Definitely works out. I'm beginning to think. I wonder if Wild Things is on Amazon or TV. Yeah, we need to write
You
that
guys
down.
are like, Emily
Yeah.
has game. I mean, I look, we were not fancy when we
Wait,
started
wait,
dating.
wait,
We
did-
went to
did-
Denny's.
Did someone say you had game?
Yeah,
Is that a
I did.
positive
I had no
sense or-
game. I had very little
You
game.
had the thing about Emily
I had
had
boobs.
so
I had
much
very little
fucking
game. I had
but
boobs.
had no clue that she had game.
I had no game.
I mean, when
I got into bar fights and screamed obscenities at people. I did not have game in my early 20s.
I would tell, coming back to that first night at John's party, I was like, holy fucking shit.
Charisma, maybe. Game, no.
There is no way. The whole reason I brought the lame ass doctor line is I'm like, I have to like swing for the fence with this girl. Otherwise, I have no chance.
Did my back tattoo intimidate you?
It was everything.
Was it intimidating because it's crooked?
Well, I mean, it was so high. It was like between your shoulder blades. So it was a little hard to tell, but
it is not well placed. It's since been fixed. I have a different tattoo artist now. You guys are asking about my mom. My mom now adores my husband. It took a little time. She was momming. My mom is very protective. She was momming. She worries about me making bad choices because I've been want to make bad choices. Brian was just not one of them.
Can I?
They X0965 has no idea how true this is, that he was attracted to her flossing. It's true. My nice teeth did have a definite part of Dr. B being in kind of like a show pony or a nice steer. You have to have nice teeth. Somebody in the chat asked if you had veneers.
I do not.
He does not. He just has nice teeth.
But the bottom half of my front two teeth are composite. Because in the 5th grade, on my banana seat bike, as I jammed down the hill and I did this beautiful cross up off the curb, I landed doing the cross up and hit the pavement teeth first and broke off the bottom half of my front two teeth. So thank you to Dr. Yua for fixing
them.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah.
So that is kind of how we met.
Yeah.
And we started dating. I was still planning on going back to UMass when we started dating. Mm-hmm. I was rehabbing my shoulder and trying to figure out if I needed surgery. If you see my TED Talk, you know how the rest of that story goes. But and
I was going to grad school.
Yep.
So
we were kind of both in between, like we were both picking paths of what was coming next for us. And then when we decided to keep dating, we decided to try to pick the same path, and we stayed on the same path.
The great thing that happened and we've told this story before, and I will definitely say it again. The great thing that happened when we started dating is like, it was, I dig you, you dig me. We both are going to be going somewhere else in a few months.
Right.
So we only really have a few months to hang out. Let's just cut the bullshit.
Let's just hang out.
Let's just hang out. Let's just be real. Don't give me any games. Don't mess with my head. Don't do anything. Just let's enjoy our company. Let's go to hockey, have fun.
If you want to hang with me, hang with me. If you don't want to hang with me, just tell me you don't want to hang with me, and then we won't.
Be completely honest. And we've kept that thought process 20 years.
Yep. Carla has a very interesting question for you.
Uh-oh.
What was your favorite dental procedure?
Ooh. Oh.
Did you see his eyes light up? Oh, Dr. B's a whole ass catch. He was a full ass doctor when we started dating. A broke doctor, but a doctor.
Yeah, still broke. I think my favorite dental procedures are crown preps and some of the more unique ones. So who asked the question again?
Carla.
So if you ever needed a 3/4 reverse gold crown, I would have been really excited by that. Maybe if you need a 7/8 gold crown, That'd get me just as excited. So those are some of the unique things that I got to do that I really geeked out about.
If you haven't guessed, Dr. B is a nerd.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed every aspect of what I did. I got to do some really cool stuff, did a lot of big things, a lot of big cases, but even I would dork out to just the simple filling because I have that type of brain where it's just moving the whole time, thinking about everything about dentistry, everything about what I'm doing, the ramifications, what material am I using? How do I need to effectively maximize it? Yeah,
I know more about material
Yeah.
flow rates than I ever thought I needed to do. Like I just, and what's funny is this is the difference between me listening about his work days and him listening about my work days is I know a lot about materials, setup times and flow rates. And he's like, what's funnier again?
Who's Lou Taylor? Who's that?
Oh, I love you.
Yeah, but
so
I was gonna say when we started dating, it was in pros and
so when we started dating, I was still finishing up undergrad. I was deciding whether to transfer schools. I ultimately transferred schools. And you were starting your maxillofacial pros program. So I was an undergrad.
Just pros. Maxillofacial came afterwards. Let's get this straight.
Starting his maxillofacial program that was 3 years, and then his 1 year pros program that was after that. But he was starting what?
The advanced pros program was 3 years. The maxillofacial pros program was a year afterwards. Yes. Because there is bound to be someone who knows the dental field.
Letters, words. 4 years. He was starting. Yeah, sure. If you're a maxillofacial prosthodontist, please drop a 1 in the chat.
I'm sure there's Jim Cal.
Put an F in the comments. Sure F in the chat for all of the maxillofacial prosthodontists that are watching this channel, I'm sure. He was starting a 4-year postgraduate program. I was still at undergrad. So our dating life was very much like students. And we did schoolwork together most of the time. And then we went to the movies on Fridays. And we went to like CPK and went to the movies. We're very boring.
We actually had one date night always throughout the weekend. Every Thursday we got together and we watched Survivor, CSI, and ER was the things. And we'd go to Panda Express.
Panda Express every single week.
Yep. Get orange chicken and some chow mein.
Broke students.
Yep.
We went to get Panda Express and we watched the Thursday night lineup
on CBS
every week. Yeah. And when we walked out at our wedding, like when they announce you and you walk out, not when you come down the aisle, but at the reception, I don't know if they still do this, but when there's like a song when you first come out onto the dance floor and you're announced by your DJ, who you may or may not have gone to elementary school with. In my case, that's a yes. We did.
Yes. No, I know you did. Yeah.
Local. What up, Seabuck? So we had the Survivor theme play when we came out for our.
How did we even find that?
He did.
We did.
Seabuck found it for us. But we had the Survivor theme play when we came out, so it was literally like the didgeridoo at the beginning of the OG Survivor.
And so, and people who really knew us and knew us as a couple got it right away
immediately
because they knew exactly what it was about.
Thursday night date night.
Yeah.
Well, when we were busy and in school. So anyway. So we need to get to a few more super chats. This was the question about you wearing veneers. The answer is negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. Dr. B, have you ever said my wife is a lawyer or I will talk to my lawyer for serious and just scared the shit out of them? I mean, we've definitely had situations where it comes up that I'm a lawyer. But I think it was earlier in our life. It's like, you don't want to piss off my wife. She might kick your ass. So he's used to me.
Yeah,
I'm normally the scary one.
There were a number of times, maybe some rugby games, maybe a few times at bars where Emily is much louder and vocal than I am and would get in someone's face and then realize it's my face that was going to get punched afterwards.
Which I think is so fucking sexist. If I start shit with you, don't go hit the guy that I'm with.
Yeah.
I realized that I needed to chill. And you're like, look,
Mm.
I have a professional license. I need you to chill. Like if somebody grabs your ass at a bar, you cannot turn around and try to break their nose. And I'm like, right, that's right. I need to chill. And then I chilled.
Wasn't it me? Usually me grabbing your ass at a bar?
I mean, once we were dating long enough, it was.
Okay.
Which was great.
Yeah.
You can still grab my ass at a bar if you want to. Classy mom, do you ever remind him of when you were in kindergarten and he was in high school? That creeps my 11-year age difference between age difference husband and my kids. We don't much, but occasionally he'll be like, "Oh, do you remember in 1980 whatever?" And I'm like, "No." So there are some, but we both really do love like 80s and 90s music, and so much of our formative time in both undergrad and his pros program we spent together that there aren't these big cultural gaps because so much of our time was spent in school.
Mm-hmm. There are times, especially because Emily's was a political science major, and I would reference maybe something that happened in the 80s, and then Emily would be like, I was in kindergarten, or I was in first grade, or I was, like, I have no idea.
2. Yeah, that's fine. I used to tease you about it. I used to tease him about it more.
And it used to seem to come up more.
Mhm.
Not as much now.
Thank you, Mooney Magoo. I have my little drinky flush going on, but thank you. I appreciate it. So Dr. B was ready. Dr. B was ready to date. He was like DTF when we met. What?
No.
We watched Jersey Shore together too.
Oh.
Jason asked, "Hi Emily, have you ever been chewed out by a judge for putting a jury to sleep?" No. I've heard you mention that a judge screamed at you for making faces and making the jury laugh. Yes. I've never put a jury to sleep. I've been yelled at by many of judge for many a thing, mostly my face. I got yelled at by a judge who's actually good friends with Harvey Levin from TMZ, who screamed at me for making a jury laugh during voir dire with my face. And he said, "I will be the only one to make people laugh in this courtroom, Miss Baker." And I'm like, I can't help my face. Like, I can't help my face.
It may not come across through the YouTube, but
we call them the YouTubes.
But Emily has a booming voice and knows how to
Are you
boom
saying
it.
that I'm loud?
No, I'm saying you have a booming voice that you know how to project it. So there's no way you could fall asleep in the same room if Emily's talking.
That's not true. You have done it many a time.
I'm still, that movie Chicago? She was not in that role. She was never in that
My
movie.
husband has fallen asleep every time we've watched Chicago. And then occasionally he'll be like, "Wait, what do you mean? Was it Lisa Ling?"
Yes, I think so.
What do you mean she was in Chicago? I'm like, you fall asleep every time we watch Chicago. I'll say, give him the old razzle dazzle. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, if you didn't fall asleep during Chicago, what's the movie that our kids have had us watch lately that you enjoy most? Fred wants to know.
Oh, the one we just watched,
Turning Red?
Turning Red.
It was really good.
That was really good.
Better than Encanto?
Encanto was good too. I mean, most all the movies we watch with him are on Disney. Yeah, so it was those two. Really good.
Fred's ready to go. Yeah. Did you see my watch went to my orange lion as I'm holding Fred? I feel very coordinated. Go on. Fred wants to just. No, it's not happening. Right. Just had a consultation for an implant today. Yes.
Good on you.
Implants are not cheap.
Yeah.
Yes. We won't tell the story about your dental gold getting stolen tonight. We'll talk about that another time.
Remember the restorative drives the implant placement.
What did you just say?
I said anybody who understands dental implants and knows that the restoration drives or dictates where the implant goes and what implant you use.
Do you want to talk about screw retention rates?
Well, I mean,
No. I was being sarcastic. Jesus, I was being sarcastic.
I mean, screw retention really is not an issue. Maybe snow in the late 80s and 90s, screw retention and preload and postload was definitely a big factor.
I wasn't asking you to show off.
Today is not as critical. Yeah.
Okay. DA stories. Do you have a favorite DA memory of me working at the DA's office? While you're buffering, Dawn Shoot said my son just played Billy Flynn in the school's version. That's amazing. Congratulations to your son. That must have been really fun. I think Razzle Dazzle would have been good. Oh, Lucy Liu was in Chicago, not Lisa Ling.
Lucy
Thank
Liu. There
you.
we go.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you. I wasn't sure either.
Do I have a favorite DA? Yes, I do. I do have a couple. I will tell. It wasn't always pleasant to be, I would at night, I would bring some work home and I'd have charts and things to do. And Emily would bring work home as too. So I got my chart in front of me, and I look over and see what she's doing. And it's like accident photos and just some pretty grisly stuff.
There was a period of time where I was doing a lot of vehicular homicides.
So there was some pretty
They
gruesome.
were pretty, some of those cases were pretty gnarly. We don't talk about those in detail.
I think kind of what became a running funny in our family was, I don't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but when it was Pimp and Hoe Day at court,
Long Beach.
That was a funny day because I would come home and I'd be like, oh my God, I just cut like the best reverse 3/4 crown, reverse gold crown. The thing was great, had a retention. And Emily's like, yeah, it was Pimp and Hoe Day. And she would start talking about what it was like in court. And I'm like, I got nothing on that.
There was a period of time where there were a few different pimps in Long Beach that would bring all of their ladies in to clear their warrants on one day. And it was always, it could have been a reality TV show. There was always quite a lot going on those days. I think my assignment in juvenile was your least favorite of my assignments.
Absolutely.
Did you have a courthouse that I worked at that you liked best, or like the stories of my coworkers the best from?
Well, I always remember Long Beach the best.
Well, I worked there the most.
Yeah. So I just remember Long Beach. I remember juvenile court was a rough year. Totally rough year.
Juvenile court's where I got TB.
And to put it this way, when you come home after a day,
got exposed to TB. I should be clear. I should be clear before the internet runs with that. Got exposed to TB.
So when you come home at the end of the day, usually your spouse, significant other, you're like, oh, how was your day? Well, this happened. Oh, how was your day? Just that basic kind of clearing the day. I got to the point where I'm like, tell me if you had a good day or a bad day, but don't give me the details because you're fucking up my day. You're fucking up my life right now. I don't see things through just rose-colored glasses, but the shit and the amount of shit you're telling me is really, I'm having a hard time dealing with it. I'm like, I don't know how you do it every day. Because it was some of the saddest.
Yeah. Therapy. I was in therapy. And I had vodka therapy.
Yeah, we
had lots of therapy.
Brutal.
Sometimes cold stone therapy. Eating as a form of therapy was not healthy for me. Did not work well.
And you were with your best friend at juvie as well. And we went when that year was over, we went out to dinner with her and her husband. The toast her husband made was, something like, glad the year is over. Nobody got divorced. I mean, it was a
rough year,
rough of a year. And the stories just made your heart hurt.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat on a lighter note asked if dental implants were like boob implants and need to be replaced after 10 years.
No, there was a theory that once an implant was in that it would last forever, but a dental implant is susceptible to the same dental diseases that teeth are. So you have to brush them, you have to floss them, and you got to take care of them.
Checking for my bone graft for implant next week.
Oh,
good luck.
Well done.
Yep.
See, I didn't ask what kind of bone graft did they have.
Please don't.
Yeah.
My husband BFF is an implant specialist and teacher, so he used my husband as his model for some of the practices with students, and he got 3 free implants. That does happen in teaching and can happen. So you guys are saying steel bees ice. I don't need any more ice. Legit so confused by diamond teeth. I mean, there was a period of time where the dental embellishments were quite popular.
Yeah. My
Did you ever do any of them on
No,
people?
I never did. But my
I should
co-resident,
have made you do one on me. No, I couldn't go to court with bling on my teeth. I could do it now though.
my co-resident in Pros, she had made a crown for herself in dental school, and she'd put a rose on the tongue
Mojda?
side. No,
Who?
Jiyoung. She put a
Wait,
rose.
really?
Yeah, there were these little decals or something that would work on the crown, and they would stay there, and they would seal onto the ceramics.
Not Mojda. That feels like a Mojda thing, not a Jiyoung thing.
No, that was Jiyoung. Yeah.
She's got a rebellious side that
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
it
didn't
was-
know about. All right. Rebel side, the
Yeah.
things I don't know. Look, would love to hear about B's dental advice. What are your top 3 pieces of dental advice?
Oh, we've done this before. We've kind of talked about this before. A little
Okay,
bit.
fuck it. Go watch another video.
No, easily I can go into that.
Top 3. I'm putting the
Top
timer
3?
on.
Dental advices?
No, not dental vices.
Vice?
Pieces of dental advice.
You got to brush and floss every day.
1,
Simple. Clean your tongue.
2.
Go out and get a tongue scraper. Order one on Amazon.
I'll put one
You-
on my Amazon list.
You cannot think you can brush your tongue clean, because then you just push the gunk back down in there. But cleaning your tongue will clear up the majority of any bad breath problems that you would ever have.
I've got a piece of dental advice. Separate sinks with your domestic partner, because then when they scrape their tongue, you can still maintain the sanctity of your relationship without having to do that in the same sink. Because it's disgusting.
Okay. So that was 2.
Go ahead. You can have your 3rd. My 3rd was separate sinks.
Oh,
So that you
okay.
can do your whole oral hygiene routine. You
Yes.
also love a water pick.
Yeah. So it'd be brush, floss, tongue scraper, and a water pick. Use warm water in the water pick. So if your teeth
Use
are
warm
sensitive,
water in the water
it'll
pick.
definitely go a long ways.
Cold water in the water pick is a form of water torture.
And again, giving general information here, not legitimate treatment.
This is not dental
advice. If you have any issues with bleeding gums or keeping your gums from bleeding, or just want things to be really clean, a drop of liquid soap and some hydrogen peroxide in
A
the
little
reservoir,
bit.
in the reservoir of warm water. And
Don't swallow that water.
Yeah,
That
don't.
water goes back out.
Yeah, really does wonders. Any big cases, reconstructions, somebody who was in temporaries for an extended period of time, did any sort of veneer cases, always had to have a water pick in that regimen.
Okay.
Prevention is the key.
Joanne is saying, I find what Dr. B has to say about his profession. He should get his own YouTube channel. I would listen. Maybe a couple of specialized dental professionals. Would you ever want to have a YouTube channel where you share your dental knowledge and your knowledge about sleep apnea?
Only if I can drink whiskey and do it.
Whiskey and teeth?
Yeah, whiskey and tea. It'd be tough. I certainly appreciate that. Emily can do this so much better. I can't even remember to look at the camera.
I don't know if anybody cares if you don't
I look at her half the time. I'm staring at you and the monitor.
We could set up like a podcasting studio and do
I am all over the
Deep Thoughts with
place.
Dr. B.
I don't know if there's that many topics. How often are you going to talk about you need to brush, you have to floss, scrape your tongue? I mean, would that be like my tagline when you open with like a gag reel of scraping your tongue?
Oh God, that would be
yeah.
a make everyone gag reel if the reel was you actually scraping your tongue.
There are tons of things to talk about, whether
Yep.
it's sleep apnea and grinding your teeth, growth and development.
That's not what I asked,
your
though.
kids.
Objection non-responsive.
I
Would you have a YouTube channel? Griffin would kill you if you got to start a YouTube channel before he did.
You'd have to be a part of it. I would rather teach students for the first part.
I would rather teach students too. Welcome, students.
I guess I didn't.
They are
think of it
the
that
law
way.
nerds,
Yeah.
not the molar nerds.
Ooh, I like molar nerds.
Though next week you are actually going to talk at a dental school about potentially teaching.
Yeah.
So we might see. I don't think you could pay me to have to deal with upper academia. I don't think there's enough. I like being a guest star. I love going and talking at University of Memphis. Like I love going to get to talk, but I don't love the idea of having to do that all the time because I love my podcast and I love my law nerds.
And I love being just the guest.
You love being the guest star.
Yes, because I was going to say star. I mean, clearly
you are definitely the star when you're here.
Look.
I will get DMs for weeks about what a hottie you are.
clearly sinking the ship on this show.
I don't think
I
so.
know, yeah.
Can I tell you something that totally pissed me off tonight? It wasn't you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I saw your face. I was like,
Like,
it wasn't
Are
you.
we doing this here? Usually you wait till afterwards. Like, why'd you do that?
You're killing me. Josh Duggar filed a motion to continue his sentencing for a month from April 5th to May 5th. Do you remember last year on May 5th? So May 5th is B's birthday.
Yes.
It's also Cinco de Mayo. We also love Mexican food. We had big plans to go out to dinner for his birthday. I don't think I've told this story.
I don't think you have.
We had big plans to go out and get tacos and everything for his birthday and some margaritas. Josh Duggar's detainment hearing was on May 5th, and it lasted for 6 hours. 6 hours. It lasted for 6 hours. So by the time we were done, the wait at the restaurant we wanted to go to was like 2 hours long. So we ended up getting sushi on Cinco de Mayo for your birthday.
Yeah, I was gonna
but
say,
you were not pleased because you hadn't eaten much for lunch because you were very excited about going to dinner. And so this dude's detention hearing lasted forever. I am going to be so annoyed if they put the sentencing over till May 5th.
Yeah, I was going to say, ask me how many tacos and margaritas I got that night.
0. 0. 0. None. It is Revenge of the 5th. It is Revenge of the 5th, Lucas. So if his sentencing gets put over, it'll be 2 birthdays in a row that Josh Duggar has screwed up our plans. Bastard. Just, what are you looking at?
No, I thought someone said their name was Paige Turner.
Goes to Amazon to order tongue scraper and water pick. Yes, we love a tongue scraper. And the tongue scrapers look like a little, I need to put them on my Amazon list. Hold on. Talk to the chat. Let me put them on my Amazon list.
Yeah. Tongue scrapers have been around.
Not about tongue scrapers.
Yeah. So hopefully this year it will be back to tacos in
your throat.
Tacos and margaritas again. I hope. But I can't believe. Does that mean you're not going to Arkansas?
I am going. Well,
but in May.
I don't know. The judge hasn't approved it yet.
Okay. Good.
The judge hasn't approved it yet.
Good to know.
What medications can and will damage your teeth? Do medications damage your teeth?
Directly, there are some medications that.
Oh, you're going to get a very in-depth answer.
Yeah.
Did you see the pause? Yes. You saw the pause? It was like, well, it depends.
Directly, like if people who chew aspirin, because aspirin is very acidic, so it can erode your gums, it can erode your teeth. So there are certain things it can do. Some medications that are not designed to be chewed, and you chew them, can do some things to your teeth. The biggest thing is that I would think of, there are certain antidepressants, Zoloft, Prozac come to my mind right off, that have side effects that can make you grind your teeth. So there's a very small section of the population that are on those medications, feel absolutely fantastic, but they grind their teeth away to nothing. The next part of that is there are medications, anything that causes xerostomia or dry mouth will xerostomia. So anything that causes,
is that the fancy name for dry mouth?
Yeah, it is. So it is. So, and there is hundreds of medications that cause dry mouth, from high blood pressure medication all the way down, and those things can cause increased cavities. Periodontal disease or gum disease can become worse because of that. So it can potentiate anything for that. There are some medications that can also increase GERD or acid reflux. And then acids are what erode away your teeth. So those can be problems.
And untreated acid reflux, then also a problem.
Right. And then we're really starting to understand now that there's a whole host of drugs and medications that are used that potentiate or cause sleep apnea, increase airway difficulty or airway breathing difficulty when you sleep. And those are starting to get some headway now. We're starting to understand that more so, because we're starting to understand sleep apnea much better than in the past.
So what do you do for dry mouth? Like to protect your teeth.
So if you have,
if dry mouth can damage your teeth, how do you protect your teeth?
The 3 things we already said before: you have to be fastidious with your brushing, flossing, tongue scraping, and water.
We've gone there when he breaks out fastidious.
You got to stick with that, because anything left on your teeth in a dry environment is going to make things worse.
Anything less than the best is a felony.
So
Love it or leave it. You better get hyped. I was teasing you.
So what's the question now? So you start
If-
jackassing, and then I just lose track.
Somebody's got a jackass. If you are on a medication or you are going through treatment, because most cancer treatments and chemo can cause dry mouth too. Radiation can cause problems too. If you're going through all of that, how do you take care of your mouth other than fastidious cleaning? Because was it a gum that you gave to people that were going through treatment to help with dry mouth? Or was it a candy? There was something that you also did. There was a mouth treatment. Yeah.
So you mingled, you brought together two things. If you're on a medication that causes
wow, my brain complicated two different things.
If you're on a medication that causes dry mouth, one of the things we always say is work with your physician, see if you can get to another medication that does not cause as much dry mouth, or to realize that if you do have that dry mouth, again, fastidious preventive care is going to be your greatest ally. And if you typically got your teeth cleaned every 6 months, you now may need to get your teeth cleaned every 3 to 4 months. Something sort of change that interval, because having a dry mouth just makes all dental diseases worse. Now, but if you're going through chemotherapy, radiation, that's a different thing, because your mouth may be so sore, you can barely even get a toothbrush in there. The idea of doing it now makes you gag, throw up. You can only use like a Q-tip to clean your teeth, because everything else is so abrasive. Those are different situations, and they need to be addressed differently and with much more care. The other big part of this as well, if you do have xerostomia or a dry mouth, you probably should be on a supplemental fluoride. And I know fluoride gets a lot of bad rap and things, and not to open up a can of worms.
Don't open up a can of worms. Don't just shove those worms back down.
But having a topical fluoride on your teeth, and that's being the key, can be a tremendous benefit. And to just tell a quick story, when I was going through a maxillofacial program, we had a patient who was 6 years out of radiation care, still had all her teeth. She was doing great, went and did her fluoride therapy. And we make specific fluoride trays for her that she would wear every day with a fluoride gel in it. And she'd wear that twice a day. She went to a follow-up care, and someone inadvertently said at the office that she was at, like, oh, that fluoride stuff, you don't need to do that anymore. That was only during the time that you were going through radiation therapy. Within 2 months, she lost every tooth due to cavities. Bummer. Yeah. So, and she'd been doing great for 6 years, but just some bad advice changed things for her completely.
So it sounds like situations can be different. Consult with your doctor.
Yes, absolutely. And
brush, floss, scrape.
Yep. And there are things that can be done.
I will say I added a easy water flosser and tongue scrapers to my Amazon store. The link is Nightbot has the link, but it's amazonshop.emilydbaker if you guys want that. And so I add you don't like this type of tongue scraper?
No, I don't like the handheld.
I like the handheld.
I don't like the handheld water pick.
The handheld water pick is affordable.
Okay, certainly understand that, and that's important. The only thing I don't like about it is the water reservoir is too small. So just be aware you may need to fill it more than once to get everything.
Do you want me to add the other one too? So there's both.
I'll
add both.
Let's go with it.
We'll add the other one.
Maybe later.
The water pick store is here. You can find all of the ones you like. Look, the cordless is easy to use. The corded one is not as convenient. It takes up more space. They are not affordable.
Got it. Then
something
let's stay with it then.
Is better. Here, we'll go to the other. Look, it takes up space. No one is keeping this water pick on their pedestal sink. This is the most ridiculous thing. The cordless is a good option.
Everybody in the chat now.
Cordless is a good option. Cordless is a good option. Yes. All right, we're going to do a few more super chats. We need to get to them. And then it's 10:30. We need to get to our kids and make them go to bed because we have plans tomorrow. I still have to record the podcast for this week. I'm gonna have
Okay.
to do that on. I don't think I'm gonna have time tomorrow.
Was it weekend now? Oh, yeah, you went too far.
Can we talk about Dr. B's superstar moment with the coffee beans? Had me dying. NS Anderson, yes. And for those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, you've met Dr. B mixing his coffee beans.
Oh, it was therapeutic.
I
Just
know
in
it
there
was. You
smelling the
loved it.
beans and the
You loved it.
sound. It was nice.
Mooney Magoo, law nerd forever, but who gets more jealous? I don't really get that jealous, and neither do you.
About what?
Anything.
No.
We're also boring homebodies. There's not much to be jealous of.
And I think good point about to bring this back about jealous. And if I can get this out, when we
I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, I can.
Sure.
When we first started dating, it was kind of part of that no BS bullshit beginning of our relationship. And the other thing was, if you were ever going to cheat, and this was
Well, no, if you want to be with someone else.
yeah, if you want to be with someone else, just tell me and just go.
Just go.
Be done with it, but
Mhm.
don't jerk me around. Don't keep me around. Don't yo-yo me. Just do it and be gone. So I think that has removed jealousy from us.
Well,
as a
because,
couple.
but we also respect one another. So there's nothing to be jealous of because we do things that are respectful of the other.
yeah,
And so I don't really, we don't put ourselves in situations where the other one would be jealous of something. But I have friends whose spouses are jealous of their friendships. That's never been an issue. But you know all of my friends, and you
True.
know a lot of them very well. So it's just, I think, a matter of trust and respect. So I don't know.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of trust and
jealousy's
respect.
never really been
And I was like,
something.
Dr. B, I'm never going to give you up, never going to let you down, never going to run around and desert you.
Rick rolled.
Our oldest knows
Yeah.
every word to that song.
Yes.
It is impressive. It is impressive. Lynn says, I enjoy teasing my hubby for being older than me. Then on his 50th birthday, he signed up for AARP and signed me up with him since spouses had no age set. He thinks it's hilarious. That is hilarious. Dr. B was very excited because he's reached the age where he can join the local seniors bocce league. And he's like, I want to go play bocce.
But coming back to this AARP,
You were pissed.
I was fucking outraged when I got my.
You're like, how
AARP.
dare you?
I was like, how dare them? What are they doing?
Fred
Who
is
does-
so not impressed
like,
that we're
who
still
do they-
streaming.
Who do they think I am?
You are a gentleman of a certain age. The chat is like, I would follow Dr. B. Tight, we are law nerds and could be you would have to be dentites. The dental nerds. Now that you're tipsy, can you apologize to my dog about getting neutered today? He likes your voice. His name is Boeing and Max. Boeing and Max, I'm so sorry about your balls, buddy. That's a real big bummer, but mom had to do it. You're going to be just fine, buddy. You're going to get through it. Question.
Which one's dinner? Which one's neutered and which one's spayed? Is neutered for boys and spayed for girls?
I think so.
Okay.
Didn't you grow up farming? Weren't you in FFA?
Yeah, but
aren't you supposed to know this shit?
We never said spayed or neutered. Things got castrated. So that was it.
Great. It's very visceral.
Mhm.
Question. What works best for tooth pain?
What is the tooth pain?
It depends on the cause, right? Is that the
Depends-
answer? It
depends
depends on the
what is-
cause.
What is the tooth pain? If it's pain from hot and cold,
So I think
Depends.
the answer is it depends.
Yeah.
Check with your dentist to try to find the source of the pain. What about tooth sensitivity? Because you were trying to get to the hot and cold. So I was trying to give you
Yeah, so I was trying if you have just general hot or particularly cold sensitivity, Sensodyne for me has always been a great go-to over the counter. Yeah, way to do it. Again, still check with your dentist. One of the recommendations I always gave was don't rinse the Sensodyne out. Leave it on your teeth and go to bed.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a little chalky and a little gritty, but
Thank you for the super sticker, Mary. My dentist retired at the beginning of the Rona.
Mhm.
Many did.
yeah,
Many did. Including
yeah, but it was. Oh yes.
I
Yeah.
have my first appointment in another week since Rona. What do you think of I have no idea. Glioxide for dental health. I've got bad anxiety about it. I have no idea what that is.
Do I? Not right offhand. I don't.
Don't know.
Glioxide sounds like one of the toothpaste, but unless glioxide is an anti-anxiety,
Thoughts on Cool Mint Listerine mouthwash?
use the non-alcohol.
What?
Use the non-alcohol version
Use the non-alcohol version of Listerine?
of Listerine. Yeah.
Ugh.
And that's my, again, this is not dental advice and dental advice. But one of the things that we've seen in the literature, and one of the things I'd seen in my practice, is that we had people who had oral cancer, and we found no reason why. Didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't engage anything that would do that, didn't have any activities that would be part of that. And one of the things that we just started finding out was that alcohol mouthwash was potentially one of the things. So again, my feeling based on some of my own clinical experience, I always recommend the non-alcohol.
Julia Blair said, what a delight to see a married celebrity couple. We are not a celebrity couple. We are very normal people who like each other. We do like each other. Yeah, Fred probably is hungry, but Fred also loves to sit on the couch. This is the couch time. If you saw my picture on Instagram last night of Fred sitting between Dr. B and I, this is cuddle time. And he's like, we're done. We've been streaming for over 3 hours now, folks. Let us be done. Let us go.
Wait.
So he is ready.
What is our celebrity name? Our celebrity couple name? Do we have one?
Yeah, I'm Emily D. Baker and you're Dr. B.
All right.
We're just the Bakers.
Okay.
Do we have I don't know how you celebrity name Emily and Brian. Like we celebrity named our kids' names, but we are not celebrities. we are people who occasionally talk about shit on the internet. But we do actually like each other. I don't think you can be married 20. Well, maybe you can be married 20 years without liking each other. But we as we started dating became best friends. So, I mean, Dr. B is my person. And if, your spouse should be your person. Nobody I'd rather be in a foxhole with. Eva said Embry. I can deal with Embry.
There we go.
But now I feel like Ethan Embry. Ship name Briley. Briem. We do that too. Bremley.
They're all solid.
They're all silent. Yeah. Briley's a decent ship name. Fred. You've never seen him do this.
No, I haven't.
Fred is on the back of the monitor with his paws over the monitor. Bremley. I mean, we're something. Why is Bremley so popular? Bremley. Is it Bremley? Would we prefer Bremley? I think Bremley. Though I like Briley. But Briley just sounds like Riley. Bremley. You two will become even closer as years pass. I mean, I think that that's true, especially, you go through different phases of life, right? We go through the phase where your kids are really, really young. Well, before you have kids. And then you're, working and establishing yourself or your business. And then your kids are really young. And that's a whole different phase. Careers are really busy. And that's a different phase. Kids are getting older. Like our oldest can babysit. And we have a little more autonomy. And, geez, Fred, we have a little more autonomy and a little more time to be able to spend together. And that's been really fun too. So I like it.
Yeah.
So, Fred is now drooping on me. We should get going. Ashley said he does that with his paws and there's no photo. No, because he does it when I'm live. I will try to get a photo of Fred looking at me while I'm streaming. It happens quickly.
I was going to say, what you do? Keep a mirror. So then you could hold up a mirror and then you'd catch his reflection.
Great. Will you get me a mirror for my office?
Sure.
Great. Briem, Susie says, pronounced like Brian. Briem. Is that right? Briem, Brian, whatever. Yep. Brimley. Fred has chosen violence. He's done with us streaming. He's like, I'm done. Court of Public Opinion ship name. I don't know. I like calling you Dr. B. It's just Dr. B. Just Dr. B. So, Emily Dr. Baker, somebody suggested for our ship name. It is time. Adine said it's my son's 17th birthday. Happy birthday. Nice. I need to double check. We did tell DA stories. We did, let me see. I need to double check and see if there's any other questions we didn't talk about yet. Somebody asked if I'll tell my Saskatchewan story. Not just yet, but I will.
What's a Saskatchewan story?
It's a UMass story.
Oh, got it.
About meeting a hockey player on a plane. I will tell that story.
I've heard that story.
He's not best impressed by that story. Andrea asked, what inspired you to become a lawyer? Sorry if this has been addressed before. There were a lot of factors that went into it, but since Dr. B is here, we can tell this story. Dr. B and I were early on in dating. I was complaining a lot about my injury. Not all of our early dating was easy because I was dealing with a pretty serious shoulder injury and rotator cuff tear, which was not great. It would wake me up at night. Not that we ever spent the night.
Yes, of course not.
Never, ever. And so I was dealing with pain. I was dealing with the mental anguish that comes with maybe not being able to resume my sport. It was a really tough period of time. And there was a day that we were hanging out. We were probably watching U571 and talking about like, well,
the reason that's funny is because that was the only DVD
that
I had to play on my computer.
Yep. So
because I didn't have a TV.
We which was why we were probably watching U571. But again, we were talking about what school and water polo and like all of it. And I think your question was, were you planning on being a professional water polo player? Like, what was the goal here? Like, what was the end game of all of this? And I'm like, I hadn't really thought past it. And I talk about this a bit in the TED Talk as well, but I hadn't really thought past it. And you're like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I kind of thought I wanted to go to law school, but I don't think my grades are good enough and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you could try harder and like figure out what that looks like and see if that's an option. Because if that's something that you want to do, maybe we try going for it. And I was like, you know what? You're right. Here, I'm going to try to get Fred. Fred's creeping. So that will be on the Instagrams after I'm done streaming. So I was like, well, maybe you should try and do that and try to figure out what you want to do. And so gave me a lot of encouragement and support, was with me as I studied for the LSAT, was with me as I studied for the bar, and really encouraged me to go after it. So that is what it was. But I had always kind of wanted to go to law school, and I'll talk more in depth about what made me think law was the right option. But with that, it's like 10:45.
Can I say one thing?
You have one thing. We've been trying to wrap up for like 30 minutes.
I mean, at that point when I met Emily, I had never met anybody who had a love for law or the law and for the sense of what's right and wrong. And I think even at that point,
legal, illegal, moral, not moral.
You still had an idea that you know, being a DA was something that you wanted to be, but you just weren't quite sure you could get there.
Oh, I was not confident that was going to happen.
You always had a very strong sense of what was right and wrong and a sense of morality. So, yeah.
Thanks, honey. Mm-hmm. All right. We've got 3 super chats to cover, and then we're going to have to peace out. So thank you so much for the super sticker, conical heart, heat. That says heat, not heart. My brain adds letters. Are you laughing at my ineptitude?
Yes.
Perfect. To Julia's point, more fun and functional marriages should be profiled and celebrated. Also, you're a lot more fun than Ethan and Hila. Oh, I don't know about that, but we have our own. I mean, we have our own vibe. So
who's Ethan and Hila? Do I get this afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, Ethan is a podcaster on the H3 podcast. He's the one being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh. Hila is his wife. They had the Frenemy. Ethan had the Frenemies podcast with Trisha Paytas. Do you remember who Trisha Paytas is? Not the one that's Gabby Hanna.
Oh, the
Starfish.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I do.
We've remembered. Yeah. We've remembered. But
not the Musketeer.
Gabby Hanna was not a Mouseketeer. You can't make that happen. My husband's knowledge of YouTube personalities is very limited to like the odd ones out, because that is our kid's favorite YouTube
Mr.
channel.
Beast.
Our kid's other favorite YouTube channel.
Well, I mean, I know you. So
who do you like better, Mr. Beast or Odd Ones Out?
Odd Ones Out.
I guess I should say whose videos do you like better?
Odd Ones Out.
Oh, what if we had to do Mr. Beast, Odd Ones Out, and Mark Rober?
Well, I would geek out with the science, so I'd go with Mark.
Real Nathan Daly, hello. New fan of your channel. I'm a retired law enforcement officer. Hello. And wanted to know if we could do a collaboration on police issues. My channel is focused on repairing the relationship between police and the Black community. Awesome. Absolutely, we can. DM me. It is absolutely a conversation that needs to be had. There is a lot. And I've talked about this in other, oh my God, my cat is under my feet. I've talked about this in other coverage. There is a lot of healing that needs to happen, but absolutely message me. Happy to have a conversation. Happy. Dr. B needs some Teddy Fresh merch, probably. Probably. You've been streaming for so long. Yep. Dr. B doesn't know who the social media people are. You know the people that I know, but even when I talk about the things, because I'm sure I've talked about Ethan and the Kavanaugh lawsuit a lot, and it just doesn't stay at all. Samantha asked, am I going to be covering David Dobrik as it progresses? Yes, I will. So we will see. All right. EHC Bunny, last comment of the night. I love Mark Rober mainly for trolling porch pirates. That's how we all found Mark Rober. Mark Rober's actually really nice in person. We ended up in an elevator together at Vid Summit. What?
No, someone at the Squirrel Ninja course.
It was amazing.
Yes.
Cheshire Grin.
And also the other thing about Mark Rober, we got to say it as well. Give a shout out and thanks to the Pinewood Derby tips.
Yeah. So if you guys have, you guys saw, especially the Patreons, saw G's winning streak at Pinewood Derby. We being the royal we being Dr. B and G, used Rober's tips and tricks on building a Pinewood Derby car, and it went well.
Yep. Came in second place.
Yep.
There were two racers.
Y'all, a huge thank you to the mods for hanging in for this supersized celebration stream. It's going to be a shorter one tonight. We're going to do a little bit of content, a little bit of Ask Me Anything. And then we're here 3.5 hours later. So I definitely have to use the restroom. I appreciate you for being here. Anyone who made it to the end, just pop I know the secrets down in the chat, because you now know all the secrets, because we've talked about all the things and the improperly placed and crooked tramp stamp and all of the rest of it. You know all the things about
and I know the difference between a G string and a thong now.
What's the difference?
There is none.
Oh, I thought you had an answer.
Not really.
Perfect.
Yes.
And with that, thank you to the mods. You guys, don't forget to give the moderators some love. Thank you for 200,000. We are zooming past it. We're at like, 200,500 or at this point, and I'm thrilled. We're going to see where the channel grows and where it takes us. And we're going to be here covering all that's up in the law. Remember, it was Dr. B when I made a hard shift into pop culture who said, but won't you run out of things to talk about? And has thus cursed me forever, because every time we're like, okay, today's a slow day. It's not, in fact, a slow day. I get on a plane and all hell breaks loose.
Yep. We still joke about that at least once a week.
You sure put that right out into the universe. Yep. And the universe was like, no, let me provide all of the law, all of the time. I will see you guys on Tuesday for Coffee and Cursey Words. I will be lightly around the internet this weekend. I'm going to post those pictures of Fred creeping right now over on the Instagram at the Emily D. Baker. We ruled on the court of public opinion. The winner was clearly Batman by a landslide. I think it's because of the costume and the mask. And Batman didn't try to fool people by just putting on a pair of glasses. It's kind of weak. At least he wore a mask.
Changed his voice a little bit.
Yes. All right. I appreciate you all. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for being law nerds. We need to go. It is time. It is time. Goodbye. Good night. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.